Welcome to the Play Your Way podcast. What is that? You can see it on your screen. We're good. We're back. Welcome to Play Your Way podcast, your weekly video game podcast.
Oopsie.
Covering video game news, reviews, and all things gaming. And actually, for the first time ever, that intro may actually be true. I have it written down here. I kind of like read out the intro. Weekly video game podcast covering news, reviews, and all things gaming. We're doing all three. We're doing all three this episode. Can you believe that? It's crazy. I'm your host, Johnny Murray here, and welcome to the show. Joined with Jordan Prater. He's back. He's here. And let me tell you, there's been no better episode for him to be part of because I feel like a lot of this is geared towards him, or at least a lot of it speaks to him in a way. So we're going to talk about that. We have a crazy show planned for you. Probably the biggest show of the year, undoubtedly so far. We have so much topics, so many games to talk about, some fun things. There's just been so much happening this week in gaming, and honestly, the last 2 weeks as well. We didn't do one last week, so there's just a lot to talk about and cover, and it's just gonna be really, really exciting. But if you guys are new here, appreciate y'all tuning in. If you guys have been here, I appreciate you for coming back. If you guys love gaming, consider subscribing, share with your friends. We cover gaming news, reviews, and more, and do a whole bunch of things. Doesn't matter what you love: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, PC, indie, VR, whatever it may be, we cover everything here. And we don't just say that, I mean it. If you guys love video games, this is where to be because we also love video games. That's why we're here. That's why we do this podcast. We want you to play your way, have fun with this choice of entertainment. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. Anyway, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started with a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys didn't watch the United Game Awards, that is officially out and up, as well as my 2024 tier list. And if you guys don't want to watch the whole video, I'm going to tell you the big two categories right now. The winner for Game of the Year for the United Game Awards was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And the winner for the Johnny Murr Award was Black Myth Wukong. Just absolutely two phenomenal games, and congratulations to all those. But congratulations to all the nominees throughout the whole show, as well as all the winners throughout the whole show, because at the end of the day, y'all delivered a game, and y'all helped our enjoyment throughout the year, and that's what matters. So, but yeah, and then also 2024 tier list, that's out as well. And yeah, there's been a lot of reviews, a lot of videos going on, so make sure you check all that out. But nothing really big on the housekeeping side. Nothing crazy is going on with the channel. Just we're doing our thing. A lot of games coming out. We're covering a lot. So, but anyway, let's get started with tradition. Now, this is going to be a little weird one because I feel like our tradition is also going to combine with what are basically our first kind of topics, and that is what have we been playing, right? I have a few things that I've been playing that aren't in the next topic, so I can go ahead and say that. But Jordan, is there anything that isn't in the next topic that you've been playing?
Yes and no, really. I can't remember if no, I don't think I have. So I haven't been on since. So I kept playing Mass Effect for a while.
Okay.
Still. I've progressively made my way through that.
Oh, I got
one of the games that we're heavily, at least for a part way going to talk about today, has pretty much taken all my attention away from Mass Effect, as well as just being busy at work too with the new promotion.
Oh,
So, go me, self praise.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I've been busy chunking away at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, 2-3 hours at a time. But pretty consistently, a lot of it tired at night, but hey, that's been mostly it. So yeah, for the most part, no, I've pretty much just been mainlining that for a good while.
Cool. Yeah, so for me, one thing that I've been playing a lot of recently is Marvel Rivals. Season 1.5 just dropped. 2 new characters, Human Torch and The Thing. It's been great, but here's the thing is, yeah, that's a joke. Anyway,
Oh, you're playing Ragnarok.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was gonna say is, I got a new TV, this past week.
Oh, nice.
It is an
Had to try out some
yeah,
visual stuff.
so it's an OLED, and I've been testing out a bunch of games on it. So I've played God of War Ragnarok. I tried the opening because it's a freaking phenomenal opening. I tried Black Myth Wukong, the opening, because it's a phenomenal opening.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
So I played a bunch of things on it just to try it out and get a little fun with it. But then also, oh God, what else was I playing? gosh, I lost it. I just had it in my head, and I can't think of it anymore. Oh, that's right. I hopped back on Planet Coaster 2 for like
Oh,
2 hours. It was like 2 hours,
yeah.
but I was like, oh, man, I really need to play it again. So I hopped on it, and I just made a nice coaster. I just made a
No,
nice
you,
coaster.
you were saying something on X the other day.
Oh
about
yeah,
wanting to-
because like
wanting
there's
to
so
play
many
some
games
Planet
coming
Coaster.
out.
I
And
was
there's
curious if you did. Yeah.
yeah, because there's so many games coming out, and there's so much to do. I'm like, I don't have time to like complete my backlog or anything. But I hopped back on Planet Coaster 2, and I was like, I could so get addicted again. But right now is an awful time to do that. So I was like, I tweeted, I'm like, I need things to take a chill pill so I can play Planet Coaster 2 again. Because they also just announced an update today, which, oh, dude, I freaking love Frontier, dude. They are just one of my favorite studios. They announced an update where in the next update, March 10th, they're adding one of the themes from the first game, which didn't ship with the game at launch, which that was my biggest critique about Planet Coaster 2, and the only reason I feel like I haven't played it more is there's only 4 or 5 themes in the game, which Planet Coaster 1, after all the DLC, ended up having about like 10 to 12 themes. And so it just felt like you were very limited in a certain way on like what themes and things you could actually do. But they're adding in Western, which is the Wild West theme, which was in the first one. But what's great about it is it's not DLC, it's just an update. They're just adding it in. So you don't have to pay extra for something that was already in the first game. So I really like that. And so it seems like they're going to be slowly rolling out a lot of the older themes in the game for free, which I really like that as well. But yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
But yeah, and then otherwise, the other things I've been playing, we're going to talk about. Because, ladies and gentlemen, February has been pretty great. And there's been a lot of games, specifically RPGs. There has been nothing but RPGs this month, for the most part. And yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. So we're going to start with Avowed, and then we're going to go into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and then we're going to go into Pirate Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then me and Jordan are going to talk about our expectations for Monster Hunter Wilds. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of that. So, and I don't think there was anything else in the month, right? Am I missing anything? Hang on. Games released in February 2025. God, I had a brain fart there first. Oh, yeah, that's right. Civilization 7 also came out, but none of us have played that. However, I did find out one of my friends, Ben, he actually bought it, and he's been playing it, so it's pretty funny, which is so a Ben game. Like, it just makes sense, actually. But anyway. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Avowed first. Now, Jordan has not played Avowed, right? No, he has not played Avowed. I have beaten Avowed about, I don't even remember what my playtime was. I think it was like, I don't even know. Maybe like 20 hours, maybe 20-something hours, something like that. So I've beaten Avowed. This is a game by Obsidian Entertainment, a legendary studio. Have made so many great games in the past. This is the first Xbox game of the year, as well as this is a brand new IP in a Pillars of Eternity universe. So it's technically not a new IP, but it is. So I'll just start off by saying I absolutely love it. I think it is great. I think this is a great game. There are flaws for sure, and we're going to talk about that. But as you guys saw in my review, if you watched it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I put it on the B tier because I do think that's what it is. I think it's a great game. I think it's exactly what it needs to be, and I think it is super fun and something I'd recommend. To me, that is all you need to be at least a great game, right? And so for me, my favorite part about the game is easily the combat, like undoubtedly the combat. It honestly slaps all over every other aspect of the game. Outside of visuals are also very, very good, like way better than I thought they were going to be. It is just absolutely beautiful what they did with the visuals. But in terms of the combat, it's just something I hope Obsidian takes what they did with the combat here, and implements it or uses it for a lot of their future games. Because I was even listening to an interview with Obsidian, the head of Obsidian, and he was even saying how the most overwhelmingly positive thing they've heard about the game is its combat. And when you look at reviews from other content creators and everything, that is pretty much the thing that has been praised the most is the combat. And for good reason. When I'm in there, the most fun I'm having with the game is when I'm fighting things, because they do something with it that's super unique and that's special to Avowed, where not only can you choose what weapon you use, and each weapon has its own skill tree and its own progression system, which obviously there's games like that, but then what it also does is it gives you the ability to dual wield what weapon. So you can have a wand in your left hand, a gun in your right hand. You can have a sword in your left hand and a wand in your right hand. You could have a shield in your left hand and a book of elements in your right hand. You can mix and match so many different things. Then there are two-handed weapons where you could get rid of the ability to dual wield and just have a bigger mainline weapon. But then what they also do is they then stack the ability to have two different loadouts on you at all times. So I could have a sword in left hand and a pistol in the right hand, and just with the simple click of Y, I can switch to an element book in my left hand and a shield in my right hand. And so you're basically using 4 different weapons at a time, and it's super
weird that it's
duper
Y.
cool. Not real. I mean, if you think like in Call of Duty, you use Y to switch to your secondary. I mean,
I guess
not that
yeah.
weird. But
I don't know.
But then also there's a good chunk of enemy variety in this game, and there's not even to do with the weapons. There's skills, there's abilities that you can do. Like if you upgrade your skill tree, you can like get an ability to click B while mid-air to come crashing down and create this big shockwave around you. And it's just super duper fun, and not even combat specifically, but I think gameplay as a whole is very good. The mobility and the fluidity of traversal feels very solid. There's a lot of platforming in the game, and I think they actually do the platforming really well, which is super not what I was expecting. You get these ice powers throughout the game as well, and if there's set sections with water, you actually have to like use your ice powers to freeze the water in like certain spots to then like jump to get up like a waterfall or something. And it's like it's really cool what they do, and then max that with what is some beautiful visuals. It's just such a fun experience. And my biggest issue with the game is its story, and I wouldn't even say story. It's just its narrative as a whole. I don't think it's bad in any way. I think it's just a fine story. There are moments where I'm like, okay, this is interesting, but at no point was there an emotional beat that hit for me. There was no point where I was like, yo, this is one of the best moments of the year for sure. It was kind of just a very placeholder story, in my opinion. Like, it's just there to have a story in the game. I don't feel like it did much. However, what I will say about the story, it does one thing very, very well that a lot of other RPGs don't do well, and that is your choices do have consequences. And it's a big shame I didn't love the plot more than I did, because when you have a good system where your choices do actually have consequences, I really want to feel that. Unfortunately, when I made a consequence, I was like, yeah, I don't really care, because like I didn't really care what was going on. But there were points where I made a decision, and then I went back and talked to a character, and he was like, I hate you, I never want to see you again. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I did not expect that. But then there are moments where it really makes you question, like, is this the right decision or is that the right decision? Like, oh man, I don't know what to do here. So they do a really good job in terms of the decision making and choices and consequences. It's just the overall plot and a lot of the characters I just find very uninteresting, which is so weird because Obsidian is known for their stories and their writing and their character, and they're not known for great gameplay. So Avowed is kind of the script was flipped for Avowed, which I just find super, super amusing for some reason. But The music slaps. It's a I think it's a perfectly sized game. You can easily spend upwards of 50 hours in this game if you wanted to. But if you just are a main story completionist, it'll take about 15 to 20 hours. And I personally would highly recommend it to anyone, man. It's fun, which is the most important thing. It's beautiful, which is always great. And if the story connects with you, I have a feeling you'll love the story as well. Just for me, it did not. I was not very interested in the story. But overall, there's really not much wrong with it. I also think, from my experience, it is very polished. I did not run into many bugs really at all. There were a couple moments, and there were some moments where I was like, okay, the frames dropped there a little bit. But for the most part, it was a very clean and polished playthrough. The game has been received pretty well, about where you'd expect from like a new IP RPG. And I'm pretty sure it's successful so far. I remember in that interview with the head of Obsidian and the director of the game, they both said that they were very satisfied with how the game is performing. So overall, I think that this is a great game, and I'm super happy for it, and I'm just excited for the future, because they also said they would be open to expanding on what Avowed is, and I think a sequel would do really good. As well as I would love to see a lot of the things that are in this game implemented in some of their future games, specifically the combat, because it is so good. Like I said it in my review, and I'll say it again. I would honestly be shocked if this combat is not nominated for best gameplay of the year in my United Game Awards at the end of the year, because it's easily like just dang near like an S tier combat. Like it really is super fun. But yeah, that's my quick and short review of Avowed during the podcast.
How wild did you go with the godlike features? I know you said you kept them on, but did you do like a whole facade, or were you like subtle with just like the hairline stuff, or what did you do?
Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, when creating your character in Avowed, one thing that this game does that's just different than any other character creator is your character has to have godlike features, which is like this weird like mushrooms growing out of your face, or like you have wood on your face, or you have like flowers coming out your neck and eyeballs. Like you have to have this weird godlike feature, which I love it in terms of the storytelling. I think it's very unique and different. There is the ability to hide those features, so if you don't want to have to deal with some weird looking stuff, because let me tell you, there are some weird looking stuff, then you can turn all that off. But you can choose a godlike feature for your hair and your face. And so for me, I hid my hair one because it just made the hair look way too stupid. But then for the face, I put like, it's like this thing that goes around my eye right here, and it looks like my skin's coming off my face, kind of, in a way. I don't really know how to explain it, but I didn't do anything too crazy with the godlike features. But yeah,
I've seen some wild ones on there where it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's like one where it's literally like a whole tree bark is like covering your whole face. It looks like a helmet from like a Kabuki warrior or something like that. I don't know. Like it looks crazy. Wow. But yeah, moving on to the next game. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Jordan.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Yeah. First things first, you need to I please go back and play it some more.
I will.
Please do.
I will. I actually got the need to.
You've already I already still feel bad enough that we game share it.
Uh-huh.
And you're the one that bought it.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, I've helped you out with other things like to compensate for it, but still, it's like, okay, like you gave up an hour in, and I'm 50 hours into my playthrough, so and that's not an exaggeration.
Honestly,
that's actually where I'm at.
I hope you don't feel bad, because I'm happy. That means I got my money's worth. You know,
dude. I am playing the absolute tar out of this game, and the thing is, I just hit a point in the map or in the story where I'm in the second region map now. Because there's a first region, and then eventually you get a point. Spoiler, I guess. There's a point where you're in a different region map. I'm hoping you get to go back because you get like quests in a point of no return, sort of. Because there's a point where it's like you're gonna be stuck in story mode for a while, so
Yeah.
it's like sort of sort out your affairs. But like while you're kind of in the middle of that, you get opportunities to like develop quests from before that. So I'm hoping you get to change regions eventually. I just haven't had the opportunity yet.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, I'm playing the absolute crap out of this game. The storytelling is so good. A lot of it, is initially set up to be a certain, failure. You get humbled at the beginning of it, just like the other one. But this one, like you're supposed to be like already sort of well established a little bit, and you just get dropped down and pegged to nothing, just like the beginning. So the beginning's very frustrating. But all content so far that I've consumed with this game is so good. It's so good. I barely touched the main story so far. Most of all of that has been just me going around completing side stuff, blacksmithing, stealing horses and selling them,
Awesome.
settling debts to people, killing people to settle debts, making choices. I was kind of against thieving for a while because lockpicking is still kind of frustrating. But once you level up lockpicking, that's another part. Skill points are like doing their job. Like you level up skill points, and guess
good.
what? You actually get better at the things that you're skilled in. So you level up thieving a little bit and sneaking around, and lockpicking becomes so easy, becomes so smooth. You don't just jiggle as much. Like
Yeah.
easy locks are actually easy. Medium hard locks do have a little bit of difficulty. It still won't let me do hard locks yet. I haven't unlocked that yet. But I want to. I want to get to that point where I want to grind some more stuff, but also sort of do it differently too. Like that's usually always kind of in my playthrough. Is like I don't necessarily want to be all good. I don't necessarily want to be all bad. Like I want to try to get the best of both worlds that I can, and what really seems fun. And sometimes I want to be noble, and sometimes I want to sneak around and steal some stuff.
Yeah.
That's been my playthrough the entire time,
Cool.
and I'm having nothing but fun.
Awesome. For those
so
for those people who aren't familiar with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, can you explain to them like what it is? Like what is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2?
So it is a medieval time-based time period where you play as Henry of Skalitz.
Uh-huh.
You are a humble blacksmith's son, and
Okay.
you need basically you're just on a nothing but a revenge tour. The first game, everyone gets slaughtered in your hometown, including your parents. You go on a journey to try to avenge that, and also get the sword back that you and your father made at the beginning of the game. None of that gets avenged, by the way. At the end of the first game, you don't kill the people that slaughtered your town, and you don't get your sword back at the end of the first game. Spoiler alert, by the way. But the game's been out long enough by now, so get over that at this point, I guess. But you're still doing that, so it's you like proceeding Henry's journey just in a much more well-made, longer, bigger, huge, open sandbox world of nothing but possibilities and choices.
Awesome. Yeah.
Nothing but possibilities and choices. God, it's so fun. It's so fun, the things that you can do and make.
What about the combat? How does the combat work?
The combat's really cool. It has a directional meter with the sword play. But you can also pick between like heavy blunt weapons like maces or like poles, pole fighting as well. You can do that. I do the sword and shield method because I like it. I like the shield thing. And so it's set on a directional of like up, left, down, right. There's combos that you can do depending on whether you hit left or right. I usually don't do combos. I pretty much just learn the Master Strike and I do that and then just get lucky. I'm really good at like getting the perfect block, so like I don't get hit much anymore. So, but awesome, so fun. Stealth kill is so hard though for some reason. Whenever people are awake, like sneaking up behind someone and like stabbing them while they're awake. I've been able to do it like once out of the 3,800 times that I've tried. For some reason, like they always break out of it. So like that's something I've yet to figure out, like a finesse
Okay.
for that, because it gives you prompts, and I hit the prompts, but still the guys are just like, hey you, and then it's like, well, dang it. So it's, yeah, good.
That's
It's
awesome.
good.
I will say, visually the game is stunning.
Oh,
Like
it's so fun.
gorgeous, man. Like
It's so good. It's so
I've
pretty.
seen so many pictures of like just looking
The
in the
forest,
horizon
the
and you just see
landscapes, the water, yeah,
miles
the
away.
sunsets peeking through,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, when you're like up on a mountain and like a certain point, you can just you do like follow
Yeah.
prompts where you just tap L1 and you just like walk on like a little bit of a journey. And at some point it'll like prompt you if you want to fast travel, but I'd never really do. Because at some point in that thing, you're gonna go on like a perfect main road where you just look out and it's just like, oh man,
Yeah.
like that's just that looks so good. And most of it, we're gonna Todd Howard it. Most of it you can go out and touch that. You can go out and touch most of what you're looking at. Like it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
It's not just caked with all forest, kind of like the first one was. Like they don't have to make up for it with like a lot of trees. There is a lot of forest. Like don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of open plain, lively towns. I mean, it's great. Henry can't swim, so there's not a lot of water. You have to go around. A lot of the water's traversable, so it's not a big deal. You can usually make your way around it. So that at least that part they don't Dragon's Dogma you,
Oh
where
my-
getting in the water's absolutely terrible. What happened to your blue there?
Bro,
Man was smurfed.
There we go. That's better. I have wallpaper set to be a slideshow, and in my wallpaper folder, there's just the color blue for some reason, and so it switched to that wallpaper, and my whole thing was just boom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I say what a shot. I did say what a shot to that game multiple times in the 1 hour that I've played. Yeah, no, that's definitely a game I want to go back and play.
I'm not good at the archery.
Uh,
I am not good at the archery. I'm bad. I'm so bad at it. Crossbows, the regular like pull bows, I'm so bad at the archery. I just don't hit anything. Like there's even like nests up in trees that you can knock down and like get stuff out of them, and like it'll take me like 6 arrows to hit it. I have not figured out how to do the archery well at all in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if you've seen any videos or anything online for it. There's like they call it a pistol, but it's like a boomstick that you light on fire with gunpowder, and it just scatter shots people.
okay.
I did finally just get one of those, but you get it in the story. I think you can get it before somehow, if I'm not mistaken. I watched a video that I saw on the internet, but I did just get that, and that's fun. I'm still not good with it. It's not accurate, but it's fun if you're close up with people.
Yeah. No, awesome.
But yeah, I'm so bad at the archery.
That's cool. Yeah. No, that's definitely a game I want to go back and play. I just when it came out, I was just not in the mood to play it generally, and I think because of that, I wasn't feeling it in the first hour, so I kind of just stopped. But I have actually been getting ever since I've finished Avowed. I've had the itch to go back and actually experience it. So that's definitely
biggest tip I have for you: get armor fast.
Okay.
Get armor so fast.
Okay.
It's incredible. Like you get into a fight without armor, you get hit 2-3 times, your stamina goes down. Because your stamina goes down, your health gets like affected a lot worse when you get hit that fourth time, and you're dead. At least with like armor, you can kind of get hit 2 or 3 times in a fight, and it's not going to completely drain your health bar. So like armor is like vitally, which that's how it should be. But, armor for sure like it made the game a lot more fun, because if I occasionally made a mistake and didn't block properly, or didn't dodge or whatever, like getting hit without anything on was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. It was so frustrating. Like I was like, oh my god, this game is just as hard as the first one. And it kind of part of it is. But once you get armor and get used to like the mechanics of the fighting, and sort of like what you're doing, dude, if you're just into a game where you can just do sort of whatever pleases your heart, main story or non-main story. This is hitting every itch that I want. But you know me, that's just what I want
Right.
out of games
Right.
a lot of the time. The only thing this game's missing is that Henry isn't customizable.
In the wise words,
That's the only thing this game's missing for me, is that you can't customize Henry. That's coming. Apparently, there's going to be DLC and expansion where there's going to be a barber where you can change hairstyles.
Oh, snap.
And then I think they also said you're going to be able to maybe do like a settlement, possibly, or at least a house.
Okay.
So big things coming for KCD 2.
In the wise words of Jordan, if I can't spend 100+ hours in the game, I don't want it.
Bro,
it's crazy.
if you're gonna give me a game that looks like this and I can't and it's done in 10 hours, I commend you for your efforts, but like, okay.
I love it.
Like,
I love it, man.
If you can stumble upon the ending like 12 hours in, I just personally, like, I want to know it's that kind of game before I'm playing it. I don't want to know that accidentally, that it's just over so quick. Like, oh, okay. I used to not be that way too. Like, I used to just want to beat games as quick as I could. It was a challenge. Me and my buddies used to go through and be like, how quick can we beat Halo 3? Let's figure it out. You know, like we would do that, which, you know, Halo 3 is obviously, you know, straight point. There is no like side content really, but you know, beating games fast used to be was my goal. It's not anymore.
I feel that. No, I feel like that was one of the big issues with Hellblade 2 last year. Everybody expected to either be the same length as the first one or longer, especially since it took so long to make the second one, and it ended up only being like 5 hours, and everyone was like, seriously? Like, it's only 5 hours? Like, don't get me wrong, it's a great 5 hours, but like, it caught everybody off guard. It was such an abrupt ending, because you like get to the ending, you're like, man, I wonder where this is gonna go now, and then it just ends. Like, it just ends, and it's like, wow, okay, didn't see that coming.
And that's hard to judge, because I've heard practically nothing but mostly good things about what you do in that short time. So, and how good it looks.
Right.
So, you know, like I can commend where it sets itself apart. It's just, man, the fact that it's so short. Yeah. It's like, I'd have waited another 2 years if you'd have at least made it a 20-hour game. You know what I mean? Right. Like, let's, I don't know, like, but you know, then again, it's not always up to the people.
And then to touch on your one thing, how you said like you don't fast travel because you know if you just take your horse and just walk or travel that distance, you know there's gonna be a point where you just see a view and you're like, man, look at that. That like reminded me of so much of why I love Ghost of Tsushima, because there are so many times where I'm like, I could just fast travel, but I just want to ride my horse and look, because everywhere you look in that game, it is just gorgeous. It's like, why would I want to ruin that moment? Why would I want to deafen my experience just for convenience? Like, it looks, it's so great.
I'm the worst about that sometimes too. Yeah. I won't even use the mount sometimes. I'll just walk in games. Walk, or like the small jog without a mount. Like I will. I'll just walk around. I'm bad about it in like every game that has a map that you can walk around in. Like Horizon, I hardly ever turn a machine and use it as a mount. I'm running around.
Interesting. Actually, I'm running around
almost all the time. I don't know. Now, and this one's a weird one to say, but there is a good mixture of both. But the amount that I walk around in Grand Theft Auto too, as opposed to not being in a car, I actually kind of like traversing the city sometimes. Yeah, like I'll actually walk. I'll actually walk from Franklin's house, like down through like the downtown area, and go like up to Michael's house instead of like driving up there. Like I'll make it an experience sometimes. I don't know, dude. For some reason, I just love just being the game. I don't know, dude. You know, hey, Franklin likes to walk, I'm sure, sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy. It is crazy, and that's fine. I'm weird. I'm playing my way.
Do it. Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. That's what I'm saying. So, all right. So, to close it out, give your overall conclusion. Like, if you had to give your closing statement for your review of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Granted, it's a review in progress. He hasn't finished it. He's obviously playing it more, but your review in progress. And then what would you score the game? Put it on a tier list, which is S through F, and then give it a number rating, 0 out of 10.
I
With our
am
grading
gonna
scale,
go ahead.
you
I am gonna
remember
go
what
ahead and just promptly put it kind of exactly where I feel like it belongs right now.
Do it. Hey,
Because
do whatever
because
you feel.
I can't. There are things that could go wrong
Okay.
with it, so I can't quite put it, I think, S yet. But that's because I'm not done. I'm gonna pop it at A
Okay.
for right now and think that it firmly fits there, because I think if the story dies out, it's not going to happen. What I've seen of like some late game stuff, it's not going to happen. I just haven't experienced it myself yet and don't have my full finger on it, so
Right.
we don't know.
This isn't a
I'm
set
gonna
in
pop
stone
it at A.
review. This
Yeah,
is just...
I'm going to pop it at A right now.
Okay.
And I am going to give it personal opinion. Again, this is my 9.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Very solid.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Very
I think.
solid.
Do you feel like you want to feel immersed and feel like you're the character when playing Jordan? A lot of the times, yes. A lot of the time, yes. That's exactly what I want. I don't usually often play a video game to play video games too much. I'm often playing them to immerse myself in whatever narrative is being written for that. Much like trying
reality.
to watch. Yeah, much like trying to watch like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Like it's very emotional. You're very connective to the story, characters, what's happening, development. That's the way I treat.
And that's
video
RPGs.
games. And that's why I think I like those so much. Games where there's just too much to do isn't ever usually a problem for me, as long as it's somewhat fun around every corner. I mean,
there are people who literally pick one game or two games, like to just play throughout the whole year, but they'll like do everything to do in that game, and then they'll redo it, and it's just like, because they genuinely just want to live in that game, which is just crazy.
I can already tell you, I'm gonna play this game back to back.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I can almost guarantee that, because I am so ready to be mean all the time in a playthrough and see what that experience is like.
Okay.
And then I really want to do one where I make all the best choices. I do nothing. Everything is pure. Everything,
okay.
as much as I can. You know, try not to steal. Try not to make money in a dishonest way. Like, I do want to try to do that. I really want to role play the game. You know what I mean? But I feel like the mean playthrough is going to be so fun. There's a couple of choices I'm not going to make. I'm never going to be mean to my dog. and I'm never going to be mean to my horse.
Of course.
Those are the choices that I feel like even bad people make. Bad people like animals. But people, you're all just flesh bags to me in my mean playthrough. Everybody gets disrespect and called an arse and everything.
So a 9 on the player way grading scale, or just the Johnny Mer grading scale, is amazing. So
it is.
There you go.
It is.
It makes sense to me. Sounds right, and he put it in the 8.
It truly is.
So,
and like I said, I'm only to the point where you get, so the very first story mission kind of plops you into okay, well, you're going to be doing story for a while. The first one does that.
Right.
I just started that one in the last couple of, yesterday, and did a little bit more of it today. I think it's about to open back up to me, but like my last 2 sessions have been just filled of forced-based story stuff. So, you know, I've got so much more game to play still, too. So I don't even really know how actually long the game is as far as how many steps.
I heard it's at least 70 hours, like main story-wise.
Right, yeah. And
Which is crazy.
I've hardly touched that.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah,
hey,
I can't
I will tell you this, Jordan, just because I don't want to let your hopes. Even if I do decide to play it again, I doubt I'm finishing it. I doubt it. Unless I genuinely get like obsessed with it.
If you can genuinely just walk around for like a good 30 hours in the first open region just doing stuff and tell me that it's not something that you'll eventually want to come back to, then I'll be understanding.
Okay.
But if you don't get hooked, which honestly, if you like it enough, 10, 15 hours of like solid straight, you know, couple session playthroughs should do it for you because of how good I think it latched me on.
Right.
Like I was so busy on release that I was so mad I wasn't able to play it for a couple of days in a row. I was like, all I want to do is play that damn game when I get home.
Right.
And I can't.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah.
And then just so you know,
I
I
You might
gave
not
about
like it.
I gave about an 8 out of 10, which on our grading scale is great. So yeah, very great stuff. So boom, already February. That was the first half of February. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Avowed, both great games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 being amazing, and there was another game came out in February, which is crazy because there's still one more to come in February. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So
I watched a little bit of like the early like beta demo playthrough, like the day or two before it came out.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch anybody thoroughly play it yet, so I'm sort of interested what you got to say about it.
Yeah, so this is the latest installment in the Like a Dragon, or what I call Yakuza franchise. They should have just kept it Yakuza. I don't know why they even changed it. I know Yakuza is Like a Dragon in Japanese. I get it, but still, whatever. Should have just stuck with Yakuza. Because now we have the longest dang titles in history. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Ain't nobody got to be typing that into Google every single time, bro. I'm sorry. Like, that, it drives me insane. But, yeah.
I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 isn't a small mouthful either, so.
Yeah, but that's easier. That's just longer
Yeah.
words. There's only 3 words in it. It's just longer words.
That's true.
But yeah, so it's the latest installment in the Yakuza franchise. It is a spin-off starring Majima as the main character. It is pirate themed, as in the title. And with that, they added pirate ships. So there is naval combat. There is exploration on the sea. And it's just a lot of different themes in it. There's like bounties and stuff like that. So my playthrough ended up being 24 hours. I have beaten the game. I actually went back to it I went back to it 2 days ago because I wanted to play some more of the mini games, because let me tell you, the mini games in this game are awesome. And so yeah, I'm at like 24 hours now. And yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go and throw my score out. I just uploaded my review for that game today, so make sure you go check that out. I scored it as well, an 8 out of 10, which is great on the grading scale. And I put it on the B tier as well. Because like I said with Avowed, I think for me, to at least be an 8 out of 10, you have to do a few things. Number 1, you have to be exactly what it's supposed to be. Number 2, it has to be fun. And number 3, I don't even know what number 3. I lost my train of thought. I'll be honest with you, but and here's what I'll say, and because I was debating 3 different scores for this game, between 7.5 to 8.5, right? And I feel like it's because of one reason and one reason only. There are moments in this game that I would consider like S tier moments. Like, there are so many moments where if I had an award in a United Game Awards at the end of the year for best moment of the year, this game would be in contention for like 3 of those nominations, because there are so many moments where I'm like, man, that just hit, or that is so awesome, or I absolutely love that. Yeah, the very last cutscene, there's a fun little cutscene at the like 1 hour into the game. There are some emotional beats that hit. There was just some funny segments, right? There are a lot of moments where I'm like, man, this is just some goated stuff right here. But then, and so that's why I'm thinking it's 8.5 out of 10, right? But then you realize, okay, I can't just judge the game off of its S tier moments, right? So it's like, because while 1 hour of the game may be S tier, you're not taking into consideration the other 14 hours. So it's like, okay, the other 14 hours are good. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't do anything that blows me away, but it's solid fun. I'm enjoying myself, and you can see that there is quality to this. This isn't just another copy and paste game, and that's something I absolutely love about this game. Is when you're playing it, you can feel that RGG, Ryu Ga Gotoku, the studio behind it, they just had an absolute blast making this game, because they picked a crazy character like Majima. They picked a really fun theme like pirate, and they just were able to do whatever they wanted to. Have sharks come out the ground and help you fight. Have these musical acts happen throughout the game. These like giant whales eat people. Like you could tell they just wanted to have a bunch of fun with it, and you can tell. Now the reason I thought it was a 7.5 is because there are moments where I was not a fan of, or there are things that I'm not a fan of that I think they could have done much better. For instance, for me, Chapter 2 was easily the worst, like 3 hours of the game. Which Chapter 2 is like a 6-hour chapter, dang near. But like there were 3 hours of that where I'm like, this is kind of not boring, but this is kind of like it's kind of feeling like a drag in a way, because there is a part where it kind of feels like a to-do list, or it kind of just feels like you're going from point A to point B, from point A to point B, from point A to point B. Like there, and I kid you not, there really was a segment where it was like, go talk to this person. Once you do that, go back to your pirate ship, and then go talk to this person again, and then go back to your pirate ship, and then go talk to that person that you talked to two times ago. And it's like, how many times are you gonna make me go to this person and go back to my pirate ship before you like give me something new or give me to do something? And so for me, that was a little bit of a drag. But the reason I set it on an 8 rather than a 7.5 or 8.5 is because of that thought that, okay, there are moments that I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of, or that they could have done better. But at the same time, to me, any game that has S-tier moments is almost at least an 8 out of 10. Because to me, and that's what I've said about so many games and what I just said, to me it's about the experience, right? I could sit here and judge the story all I want and make a rating just off of the story. I could sit here and judge its combat just purely off the combat, right? But to me, it's all about the experience. Did I enjoy myself from start to finish? Did it meet expectations? Is it something that I'm going to think about in the future? Is it something that I think people will enjoy? Is it a good experience? And to me, it was a great experience because, number one, I had fun, and number two, it's exactly what I wanted from the game. I wanted a fun Yakuza experience, pirate-themed.
Apologies. I will be RB. I'm sorry.
You're good. Pirate-themed. And one of those reasons is I think the gameplay absolutely cooked. I think the gameplay was really, really great. It went to the beat-em-up style while innovating and revamping it in certain ways. However, you could tell it is still heavily inspired by that beat-em-up style from the older Yakuza games, but then also the addition of ship combat and ship exploration, which personally I was not a fan of the ship exploration, but the combat was fun. It was very simplified compared to other pirate ship fighting games like Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but simplified doesn't necessarily mean worse. It just means simplified, and to me, I enjoyed it for what it was. Is it the standout part of the game? No, absolutely not. But I think for what the game is, again, just a Yakuza pirate game, I think it serves it just fine. But then also the combat itself, outside the pirate ship, as Majima, it's super fun. The animations are fluid. The controls work very well. I love the way it's set up, the design of it, having 2 different meters, having multiple different specials, having progression, which while I did find the whole progression system sort of basic in a lot of senses, it doesn't hurt the game at all in a way. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that I feel like this game could have done better, but for what it is, it's still a great experience at the end of the game, and not just combat as a whole. When you listen to the music, when you experience the story, when you are fighting people, when you are exploring, when you're playing the mini games, there are so many things to do in this game, whether it's side quests or mini games. It's just a great experience at the end of the day. And that's kind of what you have to say. And you know a game is great when you finish a game, you immediately want to play another one in that franchise. And that's kind of how exactly I felt. I finished Pirate Yakuza, and I'm like, I want to play Gaiden, man, who erased his name now, to the point where I even went to Austin's house and I picked up the game. I haven't played it yet, but that's just because I've been super busy. But I want to. And so, you know, I think the game is easily great. Really great game. And I'd recommend it to anyone, whether it's your first Yakuza game, whether it's your 10th Yakuza game, whether you don't like pirates or whether you do like pirates. Like, it's just a fun game, and I think that's all it needs to be in a way. There is my review. There is my review with Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Yay!
Yeah, so very fun stuff there. Good luck with all these games, Lacey. Yeah, I know, right? Let me tell you. All right. And believe it or not, so there we go. 3 games in February. What a great year! What a great month!
What a great! I mean,
honestly, hey, the year could have no more releases. It's already great now.
It's been wild.
Yeah. No, what a fantastic month with Avowed, with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, with Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and I feel like the best is yet to come. Because this Friday, Monster Hunter Wilds releases. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the first 90 on Metacritic of the year. I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if it went down at all. But the last time I checked it, it was a 90. It is still a 90. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure locking it in is the first 90 of 2025, and I'm so excited because number one, y'all already know, I gotta say it 100 times, Capcom is my GOAT, bro. I freaking love Capcom. Capcom, I'm gonna become the biggest Capcom glazer. I feel like that just has to. You know what? I'm looking around at all these posters in my room, trying to figure out how many are not Capcom so I can take them down and replace them with a Capcom poster, because
I'll take them.
This needs to happen.
I'll take them.
Yeah. You probably gave me a lot of them, actually. But Monster Hunter Wilds, man.
It's only 89 on our board.
Well, I see. Peek what I said. It's the first 90 on Metacritic. On OpenCritic, it is an 89. But
yeah.
Hey, good stuff. But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is releasing this Friday, and I'm so excited because number one, Capcom is easily my favorite publisher now. Xbox is my favorite company. Let's get it straight. Xbox is my favorite company. Capcom is my favorite publisher. Okay, there is a difference. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with this game because, number one, I've never been the biggest Monster Hunter fan, right? Like, I've played World a good chunk, and I've played Rise a good chunk. I never finished either of them. And I've always had, not issues, but it's just never, like, been something that I, like, love or, like, super duper click with. I've just enjoyed my time with it. Like, I would give probably, like, personally, I would give a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 to both of them, right? Like, I just enjoyed my time with them pretty much. But since then, I've gotten a lot more into RPGs and JRPGs and Capcom specifically. And one of my big issues was those games are so long and are so filled with a lot of what I would consider, like, filler or fat to them. And it's just a grind, like, you won't get anywhere in the game unless you put, like, at least 30 hours into it, right? And one of the things that I've heard a lot of people talk about with Monster Hunter Wilds is that the main story is only 18 hours. They cut a lot of filler and they cut a lot of fat. Granted, people have easily already spent 50 plus hours with a ton more to go because most of the game's juice is in the side content and it is in the post campaign content, which that's always how Monster Hunter's been. It's just for some reason they still had the feeling to make the main story like 30 to 40 hours for some reason, which the story was never it never had a great plot and it never was like interesting. Whereas this time around, it's very different. It's a nice 18-hour focused campaign with tons of post content. So I'm very excited for that. But then also, it just looks super duper fun with its gameplay, with its visuals. Capcom, I mean, they're gonna slap with the music, and so I'm super duper excited for it, man. And of course, we're all gonna be playing it together, so that'll be really really exciting. And by the way, we got to discuss when we're gonna do that, because I don't know how all our schedules are gonna line up. But
Yeah.
but Jordan, what are your how much you looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds?
So I've got some pretty amped expectations going into it. I'm practically going into the series blind. I've never like actively played a Monster Hunter game, so I'm just going into Wilds as my first one after sort of briefly watching a few people play some of the other titles over the years. So I'm going into this so green, it's not even funny. So I don't know. I'm hoping that it's something I can find myself wanting to really lean into pretty hard, as long as we can all, like I said, work out some time together, and even if it's something that I can do by myself potentially too on occasion and not feel too bummed about it. That's practically just sort of what I want out of it. I just want it to be fun, sort of around every circle. I want it to be fun during the grind. I want it to be fun whenever something gets done. I want it to be fun whenever something needs to get done 12 times or however it's going to be. Um, I just want it to feel rewarding at every turn. For me, is kind of what I'm going into it, and whatever sort of fun bells and whistles come along with that. Hoorah! But overall, because I don't really know much about it and don't have such high expectations or things to be disappointed by, that it's not as good as this or as good as that, or I wish they brought this mechanic over from this one
Do you
versus
even
that
know
one,
like
I won't be going into those.
Do you even know like how the game like works? Like, do you even know like what kind of game it is?
Yes and
Genuine question.
no, but not really all that much. No.
Pretty much the best I can explain it to you without like completely changing your expectations is, it's one of those games where you go out and hunt a certain enemy, in this case a creature, a monster,
Mhm.
right, which will give you rewards, which is like building materials, whatever, loot, which then you can use to upgrade your armor, so that way you can then go take on a bigger and more powerful creature, and the process repeats and repeats and repeats while adding in different kind of things every time. So it's like
Right.
it's one of those games where it's just a grind to eventually post game. Like that's one of the games of Monster Hunter is one of those games where you can see a TikTok reel, like this is what 80 plus hours of Monster Hunter Wilds looks like, and it's just this dude one-shotting like hundreds of things, like, because it's just it's that game where you just grind to get more powerful, to get more powerful, to get more powerful. Yeah, that's kind of like how it works in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we're very excited. So real quick, let's just go and figure it out, because all three of us here. What is everyone's schedules looking like?
I mean, I'll be working late on Friday, but I should as long as everything goes to plan, I think, have Sunday off this weekend.
What about Thursday
But
night?
tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, oh, well, no, actually. I have something to do after work.
Okay. So
Well, we can't tomorrow. Well, can we tomorrow? Is it like
at
an 11
at 11,
p.m.
yeah,
thing?
at 11.
Yeah, see, I don't know about that. I can try. If with it being that late,
So
I
I'm
can.
pretty sure. So I don't. Again, we're gonna have to also see how it works, because it might be you can just join in at any point, but like if
Oh,
it's a game
Austin
where
said
like
he doesn't get the game till Friday. I guess
But
he's doing physical.
yeah, but it's also, what if it is that you have to be on the same main mission in order to play? Because if it is like that, then we may have a problem. But if it's just like you can just join in whatever level you are, you're just gonna have to kind of deal with it type thing. But I don't know. I'm curious how that's gonna operate. So we'll see.
Well, maybe there'll be a lot of people playing early access tomorrow somehow. I don't know.
Maybe. Because I know for me, I'm probably gonna start playing at 11. To be honest with you, just because I'm way too excited for it. Like I just want it. Maybe not. It depends if homework gets in the way, to be honest with you. But then I do
Yeah.
know me and Austin are probably gonna play it majority of Friday. And then you said you're off Sunday for sure, so we'll definitely all three play Sunday. So, but yeah, we'll see how that works. But yeah, worst case scenario, everyone's just gonna have to play solo to like catch up to where everyone else is or something like that. So we'll play it by ear. But yeah, very excited for Monster Hunter Wilds. Jesus. All right. So there are all the games in February covered. By the way, I will have Ben on a podcast within the coming weeks to talk about Civilization 7, just because we're trying to cover everything this year. To the point, bro, I'm so locked in on games, it's unbelievable. Like, I even started playing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in my tradition of what I've been playing. I forgot some stuff. I finished Ninja Gaiden 2 Black finally.
Nice.
7 out of 10 game. That's my review. I think it's fun and I really like it. To me, a lot of it felt dated and it just wasn't as exciting as what I wanted it to be. That's definitely a game where I'm like, I have fonder memories of it than I do actually like enjoy it in a way. Which that I'm not saying it's a bad game at all. It's a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. That's a good game. But what I will say is after playing it again, I'm realizing how much potential Ninja Gaiden 4 actually has. A modern Ninja Gaiden game might go dummy hard. So we will just have to wait and see how that works. But and then 2 other games I'm going to start playing, which I will have a review next week probably, or in 2 weeks, depending on when we do the next podcast. Sniper Elite Resistance and Eternal Strands. I will be playing. I'm probably not gonna finish either of those games, but I'm gonna at least put in like 5 hours to each of those, just so I can see what the game's
I've heard
about.
Sniper Elite's not too bad, actually.
Yeah, I mean, all the Sniper Elites are at least solid. I mean, it's just a fun, mindless sniper game. Like you can't really go wrong with that. So, yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4, a lot of potential there. But yeah, so now we're gonna start talking about news. I do believe, right? That is the next thing. Yes. So we're gonna do a quick rundown of some of the news. Real quick, what is the news that you have written down?
Probably all the big one being the delay. It being
that's gonna be the final one.
A couple interviews with some Xbox uppers that there's still plenty to reveal from them this year, so that's sort of exciting to sort of wonder what that means from them. Even in the mark of like delays, there's still a couple things they haven't yet brought to the table.
We might be talking here. We might be talking.
We'll see what that means, and then what does it actually sort of mean that they're putting Veilguard on Plus so quick? So
we know what it means. We know what it means.
So that's wild that they're putting that on there. But also Sonic Colors and the Cowabunga TMNT collection. So hey, it's got good company. You know what I mean?
All right, well, let's go ahead and start with that. So today was announced for PS Plus, they're putting Dragon Age Veilguard, Sonic Colors Ultimate, and Cowabunga Collection TMNT on PS Plus, your monthly free games if you have at least the base tier. I'll tell you what it means for Dragon Age Veilguard. Pretty simple. It didn't sell well. That's I mean, as much as
they want players.
I can sit here and glaze it all I want. I have a poster right here. I have its collector's edition right up here. I have the deluxe edition of the game right here. Like, I freaking love the game so much, and we might be hearing about it later in the video as well. I love the game so much, and it did get pretty good reviews from critics and stuff, but there is a large group of people who did not like the game. Whether that is the people who like to complain about DEI, or whether that is the people who just don't prefer the switch in gameplay, or personally just weren't a fan of the writing. I can't talk for people who didn't like it. I certainly can't talk for people who haven't played it. But what I will say is I'm happy the game's going to PS Plus, because what they could have done is they could have just let it sit for over a year and it do absolutely nothing for them. Whereas now it's going to give the ability for more people to play it pretty much for free. And newsflash, I think it's a great game. And if you play it, you may feel the same way. You don't know until you play it. And so I'm personally
play it since it'll be free.
Do it, and we can finally do that spoiler talk that I've been wanting to do forever with somebody.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You're not the only one of my friends that still would kind of want me to play it too. There's a couple other people I know that would be like, you should at least experience it for yourself, regardless of what you've seen about it and heard. Which I feel like I've taken most of it in, but I haven't taken it all in context at once. So I don't know. Maybe maybe sort of getting a better real idea of it personally will sort of actually be able to set the full tone for me, because I'm still sort of on the fence. I don't know. I haven't played it. I really don't know. There are things I know I wouldn't like about it that I've seen, but there are some things that look kind of like it might be fun to do in the game. So it's like, I don't know. But
for like, this is crazy, and it is gonna lead into a story that I said I wanted to tell you earlier that I kind of forgot about. Wow, your camera went mad fuzzy.
It sure did.
Holy moly! There you go. Dragon Age Vilgard is now like my sister's favorite game of all time, and for those of you who are gonna sit here and make all the different excuses for why it's her favorite game of all time, I will say she is a diehard Christian, okay? So if you're going to make the whole DEI excuse, that is absolutely not going to work here. I'll tell you that right now. Number two, you could say, oh, she's just a Dragon Age, like, diehard. She's never played a Dragon Age game. She doesn't even play video games until now, right? And so this was her first BioWare game. This was her first time playing a game. She actually held the controller and played the game. This is like her first time ever playing a game. Well, not like playing a game, but like beating a game, beating a single player story game. And it was her favorite game of all time. You know why? Shocker. Everyone's mind's going to blow because she actually played the game and she ended up enjoying it. Oh my God. Unheard of. It doesn't happen in today's day and age. It just doesn't happen. But she absolutely loves the game. So much so that she has 130 plus hours into Dragon Age Veilguard. And just to explain, the game takes about 25 hours to beat the main story. And not only that, she has fully played through the game 8 times.
Wow.
8 times. She has played the game with every class, every faction, everything, because she loves the game. Unbelievable. And there are people who won't even try the game because they saw a 2-minute clip of some really bad written joke. It's like, are we seriously judging a game that somebody could spend 130 plus hours of the most enjoyment they've ever had out of a video game, the thing that we love, when they just see a 2-minute stupid clip of, yes, okay, that scene was really stupid, but like, whatever. 2 minutes does not determine a 25-hour plus experience. I'm sorry, it just does not, right? So I just have to put that out there. I hope this PS Plus thing somehow gives this game a little bit of a push to the point where maybe we get another Dragon Age. But as it is right now, I don't think we're ever getting another Dragon Age. Because, first of all, they have to get past Mass Effect. And if that doesn't do well, then BioWare is gone. And if Mass Effect does do good, they're going to look at the difference and be like, okay, Dragon Age gave us this success. Mass Effect gave us this success. Obviously, we know which one we're not doing again. So it's like, to me, I don't think Dragon Age is coming back ever because of all this. Which is so sad because until this last game, which is still a great game and still got received well by majority of critics, because of all that stupidness, the last game won Game of the Year. It was the first Game of the Year ever for Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year, and now we're to the point where it may never come back. And it's so annoying. It's so annoying. And so I hope this PS Plus thing does something. And I saw what Austin said earlier. It will come to Game Pass because EA Play is a part of Game Pass. Every EA game will come to Game Pass eventually. I just think because this one's coming to PS Plus so soon, that's telling of a different story for sure. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but all I know is the game is absolutely awesome. And then here's the other funny story, which I wanted to tell you, Jordan. How you've been playing through the Mass Effect games.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, I got my sister into video games this December. And I don't mean like into video games where like every time she'd come over, we'd always choose a game and she would watch me play through it because she likes the stories and she likes the cutscenes of everything. But she never actually like played the game. She never learned how to shoot or do like combos or whatnot, right? Well, Dragon Age Veilguard changed that. She ended up playing the game so much so that she like did a whole bunch of research afterwards, and she like came home from a trip and was like, yo, so I found out if you do this in the game, like this happens. And I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. To the point where she then replayed the game, to the point where then she was playing when I was not even in the room, to the point where she wanted her own PlayStation, which is what I did. I ended up buying my sister a PlayStation, and she bought like 8 games, including games such as like Dead Space and stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry, that is a crazy statement. Like that is this is gonna be one of the greatest statements I could ever say. I convinced my sister to buy Dead Space. Like what? And so she ended up really getting into games. Obviously, she spent 130 plus hours on Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Yeah.
But recently, I talked to her on the phone about 2 weeks ago, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to start playing the Mass Effect games now, right? And so she started playing through 1. I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to you about like the ending of 1 and everything, because that's the only one I've finished. And I was like, okay. So now I talked to her on the phone last week, and I was like, yo, so did you ever finish 1? And she's like, yeah, I'm on 3 now. And I'm like, what, 3 hours in? And she was like, no. I beat the first game and I beat the second game. I'm on the third game now. And I'm like, it's been a week. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you're telling me you beat the first and second game already? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what did you do? Speed run it? And she's like, no, I beat like all the side quests and everything. Like, I'm just on the third one. I'm like, how many hours have you put in this game? She's like, about 50. I'm like, in what? Like, it's been like a little over a week. Like, what? Like,
I love it. I love the dedication.
Bro, she's like outclassing me now in
I love it.
certain degrees. I'm like, what's going on here? It just turns out she loves RPGs and she loves BioWare, which, hey, I don't blame you, because see, that's the thing. She has time. She's a teacher. She is a middle school teacher. I don't know how she has time. I really don't. She must be sleep deprived or something, because I don't understand how she had that much time. So it's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
But she absolutely loves it as well. She even asked me, she's like, so when is the next Mass Effect coming out? And I'm like, oh boy, wouldn't you like to know?
Right, yeah.
Wouldn't you like to know? We would all like to know.
You're in so much company though, so.
Oh yeah. And so then we ended up having a huge Mass Effect like lore conversation. It was just awesome. But and I told her, and I was telling her about Avowed, and I was explaining to her how that works. And she's like, yeah, that sounds like a game I'd like. Because she also does not like first person, or I don't think she doesn't like first person. She just prefers third person. And she does not like shooting, or she's not a big fan of shooting. She said that's her least favorite part about Mass Effect, and why she likes Dragon Age more is just she's not a fan of shooting. So that's something. And so I told her about Avowed, and then I told her about Fable. She actually played Fable way back in the day on the 360. A little bit. She never beat or anything, but she remembered what Fable was. I was like, yeah, new one's coming out. I think she'll love Fable, which is so funny that it got delayed now, which we're going to talk about that, because that might mean that she might be able to play it on PS5 now, which is kind of crazy. So we're going to talk about all that. But yeah, it's just so funny that she got so hooked, and she is so in love with RPGs. Like, she is an RPG player, which there are so many people out there who literally just play RPGs, and for good reason. RPG, I mean, whether it's genre. I like whether it's your favorite genre or not, it's not my favorite genre, but like RPGs genuinely are like the video game genre. Like, that is what video games are practically built on, like in a certain way. And so, like, it just makes sense to me, like, why she's so in love with it, because she likes making choices, she likes customizing her own character, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds like an RPG to me. So, and it's just so great to see it, but what really sucks is that she loves Dragon Age that much, and she loves BioWare that much, and they're like not in a great spot, and there may never be another Dragon Age now, so I'm like, I feel so bad. See, and that's the thing. That, again, that makes you just want to rant again. Somebody loved the game so much that it became their favorite game ever, put so much hours to the point where they are so excited for a next game, for a sequel, and they may never get it. How sad is that, man? Like, that's it like breaks your heart in a certain way. So it's like, man, so tough. But
yeah.
But yeah, so that is that news. The next one, wait, so okay, hang on. We're gonna talk about Xbox at the very last piece, because I'm curious what you have for that. Is there any other news that I can think of? Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Exists. Yeah. They closed 3 studios, maybe even 4, I don't remember, but they closed Monolith, which is one of them. Yeah, they just suck. They just suck, and they don't know what they're doing. Wonder Woman was canceled. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like, unfortunately, it's just a common thing in the industry these days. Like, you can wake up any day and just see studio closures, game cancellations, because companies are just really stupid now. Especially Western companies, because they just I don't even know, man. Like, I don't even know. Like, as much crap as we give Xbox a lot of times, they might be the only Western company publisher that, like, isn't the most god awful thing in the world. Like, they could classify as, like, at least like an A tier, or like B I would say A tier company, because they're not completely dog water, right? They actually seem like they know what they're doing in terms of gaming to a certain way. We may not agree with all their business decisions, but at the end of the day, it's a business. They're going to try and make money however they do it. But at the end of the day, they know what gaming is, and they're playing their cards right. I don't know. It just upsets me. All I know is, look, I am a fan of Warner Bros. Games when they actually make games that are good. I'm looking forward to whatever Rocksteady works on next. But it's so sad to me that Monolith for sure is the biggest L here, because they're a studio where their last game was 2017, and it was a banger of a video game. Middle of Earth, Shadow of War. And it was a banger of a game, man. It was so good. And they didn't even get to release another game. They didn't even get to release another game. And it's really sad, but Austin says Montreal's probably gone next. NetherRealm is only alive because of MK, based off what they said. This whole topic is so infuriating. Watch Kind of Funny Games podcast, and I legit started. Yeah. Hey, no, I get it. They absolutely suck. NetherRealm. Well, I mean, NetherRealm isn't only alive because of MK. They're alive because they earn them money. Like, which, granted, yeah, the only games they've released in the past 7 years has been Mortal Kombat games, but those games sell like hotcakes. So, I mean, and to Warner Bros., that's all that matters. If your game sells, boom, we won it. Same thing is happening with Hogwarts Legacy. And my bigger thing, Montreal, I don't know. If Montreal would have, if they were going to close Montreal, I feel like it would have happened in this wave of closures. So I don't know if it will close. But at least yet. Rocksteady, I'm worried about. If their next Batman game does ends up having major development trouble like Wonder Woman did, or if the next Batman game sucks, they're probably gone. I don't see NetherRealm ever closing just because they make too much money, unless they were to release like Injustice 3 and it sucked. Maybe, but like Mortal Kombat, even though Mortal Kombat 1 was kind of underwhelming in a certain way, it's still selling like hotcakes. So
I enjoyed Mortal Kombat 1.
I enjoyed it too. It wasn't as good as other ones.
Fair.
But yeah,
I guess I don't know. I didn't play a lot of them for a long time, so going back into 1 was sort of, again, my reintroduction after not playing like the previous 6 titles.
I would say Mortal Kombat has progressively gotten a little bit worse every time. Like Mortal Kombat X was peak, bro. Mortal Kombat X was awesome, and then Mortal Kombat 11 was really great. Sorry, I was reading a chat. And then Mortal Kombat 1, while it was definitely a step down, it was still fun. Like I still enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
But we'll see what they do now. I think they're making Injustice 3 next. I'm almost positive because James Gunn, which is now the head of DC, he's been talking with them. I'm pretty sure they're making Injustice 3, especially with the whole DCU reboot. And honestly, that's now thinking about it, that's probably why we got Mortal Kombat 1 instead of Injustice 3, because the DCU was in a big shambles. They know making a game takes at least 4 years, right? And so it's like, okay, if we know we're going to be doing a DC reset, let's not have them make a DC game like that could possibly release during that whole dark ages of DC, right? So it's like, now that we are restarting the DCU, now we're going to make Injustice 3. That makes sense to me, actually. So hopefully that does them well as well. But yeah, Warner Bros. Games, man, they need to figure their stuff out. And I know he talked about Ubisoft. I'm not even going to talk about Ubisoft. We'll see. We may have to talk about Ubisoft once Assassin's Creed come out, but whatever. All right. What other news do we have to talk about? I can't remember outside of Xbox stuff, of course.
Tony Hawk, yeah.
Well, that's also Xbox related.
Yeah.
Man, Xbox. All right, you know what? I don't think we got anything else though. So let's just do it. Xbox, dude. Xbox legit. I genuinely think I think Xbox is the biggest publisher in gaming. Not in terms of like sales, or well, actually, maybe they were the biggest publisher in terms of sales last year. Actually, like they were the number one publisher in sales. Which, granted, a lot of it is because of Call of Duty, but like I genuinely think Xbox is the biggest publisher in gaming now in terms of how many studios they have, what their output looks like in terms of sales, in terms of platform holder, in terms of subscription service. Like I think the facts are there, honestly, that I think they are the biggest. Now, are they the best? No, absolutely not. They're not the best. Are they the most popular? No, not even close. But I do think in terms of size and like business output, I do think they are the biggest publisher, because we're about to talk about it. There is hundreds of possibilities what else could happen this year, and there's already hundreds of possibilities for next year. It's just crazy how we literally just had a developer direct where they revealed like a whole bunch of games coming out in the first half, some in the second half, and now we have more games being announced. We have games getting delayed until next year. We have like Game Pass deals. We had a whole ID at Xbox show. They have a whole indie department going crazy right now. Like Xbox is huge. They are so massive. And
they're busy guys.
And luckily, they've been releasing good games recently. They've been releasing good games recently. Indiana Jones was a banger, phenomenal game, and then Avowed is great. So they're on a roll. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about Xbox here. So we'll go and start with the whole Fable thing. So if you guys didn't know, Fable, which was Fable was previously confirmed for 2025. In fact,
I was gonna buy a next gen system for you. That was like 99.7% of the reason
I was going to commit to a Series X was Fable. Now I don't know if I should.
If you guys don't know, it's previously confirmed for 2025. I even drafted it on my fantasy team because I thought it was coming out this year, and it got delayed to 2026. Honestly, I should have saw that coming. Ever since Outer Worlds 2 got announced for 2025, I started wondering. I'm like, I feel like Fable might.
I probably will. Austin.
Yeah.
There's stuff I wouldn't mind going ahead just having Game Pass like on a console.
Game Pass is
accessible and going back and seeing if some of my older 360 titles I still have will play and work. Being able to play them on a smooth running system will be nice. Popping Skate 2 again on in my Series X and running through that story mode a whole fresh time isn't something I would be mad about.
Game Pass is
that's a goal for me this year is to pop Skate 2 in and be able to play that story mode on a Series X. That'll be the goal for me, one of them. But anyway.
Yeah, so Fable unfortunately did get delayed. Xbox announced the delay alongside a little 30-second clip of some pre-alpha gameplay footage. Have you seen that footage, Jordan?
I did watch the pre-alpha footage.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. It
like
looks gas. It looks awesome,
like
dude. It looks so
I like
good.
What I saw. They've been I've had some worries because like I know we were talking about like there's going to be a lot of hopefully Fable stuff at the like summer talk or whatever that they were talking about. And I was like, it's just they've been really quiet about Fable. Like it's just been so quiet and there's a lot in the air going on with them. They're busy. There's so much going on, and it's like, why is it so quiet about Fable?
Right.
Like, why is it? And obviously, this is probably why. Yeah, this is obviously this is why.
So
there were some things going on probably for a hot minute of what this consideration was going to be. So I do kind of wonder. I didn't look into it like super heavily and go through like every article and everything that I could about it when the news dropped, but. Like I am wondering how long of a consideration it's been. If it's been like we've been heavily considering this since September or anything.
I think they made the decision alongside the decision to put a 2025 date on Outer Worlds 2, because I genuinely because there was a whole thing when Outer Worlds 2 got the 2025 release date. Everybody started asking like, bro, how many RPGs are you releasing this year? Like, holy crap! You have Avowed, you have Outer Worlds 2 and Fable, 3 pretty big RPGs in 1 year. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'll take it, but like that's a lot of RPG. But now that Fable is out of the year, it makes a lot more sense. So I feel like that was kind of the plan. Now I've been hearing things. We're gonna talk about it in a second. I don't know if it's true, but I've been hearing some things. But that pre-alpha footage though of Fable, let me tell you, I don't even know how to put in words, but it was like exactly what I envisioned it looking like, kinda. Like it's exactly what I wanted. Like it looks so great. The visuals dang near are exactly what they were in all the other trailers. Like it is Forza Horizon visuals in a RPG. Your face, your camera went dead for a hot second. I think it's gone. Or is he gone? I don't know. But that gameplay looks so good. And they're even doing things like where you can kick a chicken. Like, what? Man, bringing it back. Bringing it back. I love it. But yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Sorry, my
interesting. So yeah, that's the next thing we're gonna talk about is Austin said, I will say if the main reason it got delayed is because of releasing on PS5 day one, I'm a bit disappointed, but I guess I can wait longer and allow them to make sure the game is perfect. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. I'm perfectly okay with waiting to make sure that they have more time to polish the game, add more to the game, just make sure it's the best possible thing possible, right? Performance is up to par, all that stuff. In terms of the PS5 thing, I've honestly gotten to the point I kind of just want them to release all their games day one on PS5 now, because it's going to happen. All the
I've
games
wanted
are
that
coming to
for
PS5 at some point now.
a strong hot minute.
Yeah, and so at this point, I would prefer them just rip the Band-Aid off, because it's happening.
I just want everybody to get along. I want everybody to get along. I want everybody to be able to have the same experience. We had our heydays of trying to fight it out. Like, nobody's really, there's always been perks of like one way or the other. Let's just make some games and play, dude. I don't know. That's just, I'm tired of it always being a argument, dude. It's just,
But
shut up. Just put the game out.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing is,
everywhere.
All the games are going to come to PS5 at some point. It's just, like, are we going to keep doing this thing every developer direct, every new game announcement, every June showcase, every new trailer? There has to be this controversy about releasing on PlayStation, or we have to go through this huge debacle. When is it coming to PlayStation? Summer or Gamescom, the closing trailer was announcing Indiana Jones was coming to PS5 spring. It's like, I would rather just if we just know all their games are coming to PS5 day one, everybody could get way more excited. We don't have to have this controversy. We don't have to have this back and forth every single time. It's just like, we know what's happening. Let's just jump straight to the chase. Let's get everybody on board for it. Boom, it's coming to PS5. I think that's... I personally would prefer if it does come out on PS5 day one, so we don't have this whole thing. Because also this is giving me a whole new perspective. I was telling my sister she would love Avowed and she would probably like Fable. She can't play it because it's an Xbox exclusive. If it does come out on PlayStation day one, me and her can play Fable together at the same time. And it's like, obviously not in the same game, but like, we can play through it ourselves at the same time. And so it's like, the more people that get to play it, the better. Even though, yeah, it hurts that Xbox doesn't have exclusives, or, that whole thing is gone now, but,
I just don't want this to mean silence for the next 10 months about it.
Right.
Like, let's keep talking about it. Show me more. Like that, like, again, like the thing where we thought we were going to see like a lot over the summer. Let's do that. Show me where we are in May, June, July, whenever that is that they're gonna do more stuff.
So now we're going to get to the point.
Show me more of it. Give me a spring release in the summer for it next year.
Ooh.
And just, let me get my hopes up a little bit. Like,
okay.
let's not just give us 50 seconds of gameplay where you show us magic, you show us Valverines, you show us Hobbs. Like, you show us so many things that look like they're going to be done so well. The Fable man inside me is like both excited and raged even more that you gave us 50 seconds of gameplay, because now I know that it has the potential to play good because it looks good. And yeah. I need, it's fine that it's delayed. You want to fine tune it and prioritize a couple things. Let Playground play their ground a little more. That's great. That's fine. Don't go radio silent on us. Keep giving us stuff. It's been way too quiet for way too long since the last cinematic trailer. Let's get some hype this year for it. That's all I want. Let's get some hype with some more.
I'll tell you right now.
Let's not run the same 50 seconds of pre-alpha footage while the devs talk for like 6 minutes. That's not what I want. That's not what I want.
Yeah. Well, so now's the part. Let's start speculating, because like you said, there was a news thing that Xbox has more to announce this year. Austin said the whole Tony Hawk thing, this whole Fable delay. Yes. So everyone's making predictions about summer showcasing. Let's go ahead. Let's have some fun. Let's predict the future of Xbox right now. So, in terms of Fable being at the summer showcase, I can almost guarantee, knowing how Xbox works, I can almost guarantee you this is what's going to happen. Summer showcase, we are going to see Fable this summer. Get its full-blown gameplay reveal. We're going to see, like, the story. We're going to see how its combat works. We're going to see how its exploration works. We're going to see its full gameplay reveal. I don't know if that is going to be the post-showcase direct, where we're going to get, like, 40 minutes of it, or if it's just going to be like the opener, right? Where kind of like, and what I compare it to is in 2020, their big showcase before the Xbox Series X came out. They spent the first like 8 to 10 minutes of that showcase showing Halo Infinite gameplay. That was the opener. The like show started, the whole countdown started, and as soon as it ended, you just saw them building the Master Chief armor, and you're like, oh, they're about to show Halo Infinite gameplay. I see that happening again, where the countdown's going to start, we're going to start, and it's going to be like, what's going to open it? Boom, Fable. Y'all wanted it, here it is. This is what we got.
You know what I would love? You know what I would love?
What?
Countdown, black screen,
Chicken chaser.
and then just damn cinematic skates, gameplay, magic. Give me the Guildmaster back. Give me the Guildmaster back. I want it. Give me some kind of crazy reveal that you're bringing the Guildmaster or Maze back. Somebody wild from the first game that just nobody's going to expect. But just right at the just black screen,
Chicken chaser.
and then just bam, just right in there. Give it to me.
Bro, I will say this. You have to do the reaction with us to the Xbox show because we're getting Fable this summer. There's no way we're not. So like, man, you have to be there because it's just gonna be like the countdown start.
I certainly will if I can. I certainly will if I can.
The countdown ends and George's gonna be like, "Give me Fable lore. Give me Fable lore."
I need it. I need it, dude. I need it so bad.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, so I don't know if it's gonna be the post showcase direct or if it's just gonna be a big gameplay reveal. And I think that depends on this other rumor. I heard it at the very beginning of the year, in January. And it's coming from Jason Schreier, Jason Schreier is a very well-known, credible insider and leaker and stuff like that in the gaming industry on Twitter. And in January, he said that he's heard internal discussions that Gears of War E-Day is planned for 2025. When we first heard the rumor, everybody put it off because we're like, there's no way they're releasing all the games they're already releasing and Gears of War E-Day. Fast forward to February, Fable just got delayed. And well, what do you know? The rumor has popped up again that Gears of War E-Day might be scheduled for 2025. Multiple questions. Number one, is this true? In my opinion, I say no. If it is, though, B, when is it coming out? And C, when are we going to see it again? If it is coming out this year, I almost guarantee you this is their December game. Kind of like how Indiana Jones was this year
Summer
or last year.
Christmas release.
Yep. It almost as if Indiana Jones last year, Gears of War E-Day will be the big December release. Close out your year with one of your biggest games. If that is the case, I probably am going to predict that the post-showcase direct will be Gears of War E-Day.
If it drops this year, it would have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so, and if that is the case, I think the big game that they show at the Game Awards is Fable. I think that's the game where they're like, yo, because Xbox always shows up with like one or two things at the Game Awards. Like 2 years ago, they showed up with Hellblade, and it was like this nice like 8-minute like on stage concert, and then they went into like a whole like gameplay thing. And it was a really like big trailer for it. I could see them doing it where they're gonna do the gameplay reveal at the summer showcase for Fable, with then possibly a release date trailer at the Game Awards, sort of like Hellblade. If Gears of War E-Day does come out this year, which first of all is crazy to even think about, because before this year started, I was thinking there's no way it happens. Like I'm thinking there's no way Gears of War E-Day is coming out this year. But now that Fable's been delayed, it almost does seem like that is a possibility, because what's going on now and this is the same thing that everybody's been talking about since the whole developer direct, is a couple years ago, Phil Spencer on an interview said that he sees the vision for where our portfolio, for where Xbox's roadmap is going. And he wants to get to a place, and he knows we will get to a place where we can release a first-party big AAA game every quarter of the year. Avowed, first quarter. Doom the Dark Ages, second quarter. Even South of Midnight, but that's not, I wouldn't say that's a big AAA release. But South of Midnight, also second quarter. Outer Worlds 2 is coming sometime this year. I'm probably going to guess that's third quarter, right?
Yeah.
Meaning there would have to be a fourth quarter game, and we all thought that was Fable, but Fable is now delayed. We could possibly see Gears of War EA take up that fourth quarter spot, which is mind-blowing to me, but it is possible because the game has been in development for 5 years, and knowing the Coalition, they're a very, very good studio, especially when it comes to working with Unreal Engine and working with the technical capabilities of games. They count Ninja Gaiden 4 first party. I do not consider it first party personally, but they may, even though it's really not. That's not what first party means. Also, that's coming from Aaron Greenberg. Aaron Greenberg is
Fall is considered third. I would think so.
That is true. Fall is also third quarter. Unless Outer Worlds 2 is their fourth quarter, which I could see that because they want to try and separate it as much as possible from Avowed while still releasing this year, but I don't know. See, if honestly, I thought if any game was going to get delayed, it would have been Outer Worlds 2. That's what I thought was going to get delayed, but it ended up being Fable, but I don't know. That whole theory's crazy. But then also now we have the whole Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake might be coming out this year as well. Now, granted, that's not going to be considered a big AAA game, but that's a big release for a lot of people, and that it's going to sell well, and you know it's going to be a good game. So
it will. I'm looking forward to trying them, but man, I want Underground.
Oh, I know.
So much.
That's the one I want if they ever do one, is Underground.
But there's a big part of me that kind of hopes they're doing like the Pro Skaters, and like in the background they've been doing like an Underground overhaul, where like Underground's going to be like a project.
Just do what they've been doing. They did Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. Then now they're doing Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake, which is literally happening on 0304.
They're making the same game. Basically, they're just like updating the skaters a little bit, some of the mechanics, like the graphics. Like, if anything, like let's take Underground and like overhaul it into like a whole new.
Oh,
experience.
I see what you're saying. So you don't want a remake. You want like a redo. I don't know.
Reimagining.
yeah, reimagining. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, let's launch back into, but like, and just call it Thug. Like, don't even call it Tony Hawk's Underground. Just like give it Thug with the abbreviations, and like start it over. You know what I mean? I think that'd be cool, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're just gonna be very well done remasters probably.
Yeah.
Maybe with like some expansion like on like character creation. Maybe they'll add a little bit more to it. Maybe because Underground was already kind of like a different pace, so like would they sort of copy and paste it and just make it look cleaner?
Well,
but
so
I don't know.
What I thought is because they're doing Pro Skater 1 and 2, and then they're doing 3 and 4. I feel like they would just do Underground 1 and 2 combined, like remakes of those two as well. Is there 2 Undergrounds? I feel
there is. There's
right.
Underground 2, American Wasteland, which is another one a lot of people want, and then they went into like Project 8 and.
I find it so funny though that it's being revealed on March 4th, which is 0304.
34. Yeah. Yep.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But so I can almost guarantee you this: they're gonna reveal it March 4th, and then we're gonna get the release date at the summer showcase. It'll probably come out during summer, like August, maybe July, even. Right? I think it'll be a pretty quick
and that is huge because
quick thing from announcement to release. I don't think it'll be a long wait for it.
It's huge because if Skate actually ends up getting completed and coming out this year, like what is that going to do for the skateboarding competitiveness releases this year? So
based off the way they're announcing it, Funny Games Cast thinks they're going to shadow drop it. I do not think it's going to shadow drop. I do not think so.
That would be wild.
It could. I just don't think Xbox would do that because they already have so much going on. I don't see them doing it. But I mean, technically, they don't have a March game.
Just
to be fair.
we're sorry we're sorry we shut down Hi-Fi Rush 2. Here's Tony Hawk Underground.
Hey,
3 and
remember
4, Tony Hawk's
that
Pro
last
Skater 3
studio
and
that
4.
shadow dropped the game that we ended up closing? Hey, well, we're gonna shadow drop another game. So here it is. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting stuff there. But I don't know what else Xbox has planned because I know what you're talking about. They keep saying they have more to announce for this year. I don't understand how they have more to announce. Like, what else do you... I mean, I'm sure you have tons that you haven't announced, but, like, what else for this year? You already have so much for this year. Like, I don't know. I do know one thing. Oblivion Remake is a very good possibility. Oblivion Remake is a very good possibility, which I'd be all for it. Bro, Xbox is cooking. They literally... They are really, really cooking. Like, yes, the business side of things, there's always going to be questionable stuff about it. But in terms of their studios and the games that they are outputting, they're cooking. They're absolutely cooking. And all their games have been reviewing from at least good to fantastic. So as long as they just keep up this momentum, I mean, the next one they have is South of Midnight. So if that does well, I mean, like, we know Doom's going to be a banger. So we don't even got to worry about that.
Right.
Yeah, Double Fine's next game. Dude, they just have so much. They have so much. Who knows all the third-party partnerships they're doing as well? Who knows all the second-party stuff? We have to see, like, Contraband and stuff like that in forever. Like, that could be a 2025 thing for all we know. Like, they're just crazy. And on top of that, Game Pass is going crazy right now. We just had the ID at Xbox thing, which we're not even going to go over all that because we're kind of already having a really long podcast. But just know they revealed a ton of indie games. They re-showed a bunch of indie games that we haven't seen in a while. But they announced so many of them coming to Game Pass. It's unbelievable. Like, Game Pass and Xbox is just cooking. In terms of the game department and the studio department and the actual platform department, they're cooking. Business-wise, okay, we can sit here and debate a little bit. But, like, they know what they're doing in a way. Like, they kind of do. And as long as they don't start putting out bad games, I really can't complain. Because at the end of the day, that's all I want. I just want good games to play. That's really all I want. So, you know.
Good and fun. Yeah.
And if you're giving them to me at a great value, which is Game Pass, I really can't complain to you. Like, it's just so awesome. But yeah, Xbox Man is crazy. I don't even know what 2026 is going to look like, but I have a feeling it's already looking just as crazy, if not more crazy. Yeah, ignore the console business for them. They are cooking. Yes, they are. They are absolutely cooking. But like 2026, we may very well get Fable, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, Elder Scrolls 6, who knows? We may also get, like, maybe Gears of War EA if it doesn't come out this year. Like, 2026 is already looking banger as well. And then whatever they announced during the summer showcase as well. But they have given up on consoles, so it's hard to judge them on it if they're barely trying them. Well, yeah, they have. See, that's the thing. They've given up on the console wars. They haven't given up on their console. And I actually really like the way Phil Spencer put it in a recent interview. He basically said, we recognize that if we put our games on other platforms, on as many places as possible, we earn 70% of all that revenue from any platform. But if we put it on our platform, we earn 100%. So that is why having our own platform is important whilst putting on other platforms as well. It's to maximize money. It makes sense. They're not giving up on hardware. They're not giving up on console. We know they have the next console coming. We know they have a handheld console coming. We know they're doing so many things. It's just they're also putting it other places. And to me, even though I wish exclusives still existed, kind of, but to me, it just makes a lot of sense, and it's just it's kind of smart. Like it is kind of smart. But yeah, the whole Xbox business thing it's complicated for sure. We'll just have to see where it goes, but yeah, pretty great stuff from Xbox. But let's go ahead. So, Jordan,
Yeah.
now that Fable has been delayed,
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What games are you looking forward to in 2025? Because every time we talk about it, you always say you're not really that excited for games this year, which is kind of blows my mind because there's so many this year.
Yeah, no, and there are, and I can appreciate the excitement for the people who are thrilled for the titles that are coming out, but like on a personal basis, most of them, apart from a few that have sort of just already happened or are planning to happen. Like I said, I was looking forward to trying Monster Hunter. I've been talking about Kingdom Come for like 8 months. So obviously I was pumped for Kingdom Come Deliverance was a big one for me. So that was kind of just the big releases for me already. Everything else kind of for me is sort of seeing what the newer titles for the like reruns are going to be like. I am looking forward to seeing what the second ditch effort of college football is going to be like, because they did sort of turn that on its head a little bit and make certain things a little more fun, but they did leave out a couple of features, and there are a few things that's like you probably could have put a little more effort into that. Like y'all didn't even try to get a soundtrack. Really, it's just going to be the same drum beat for the entire 90 hours I played this game while in the menus. Cool. So like that kind of stuff. See what they change and develop that. I am interested to see where 2K goes back into with golf, because EA took over the last release title for PGA Tour, and I did not like that one. I was not thrilled about the EA game. It was sort of unnecessarily hard, which I get it. Sometimes the more simulation ones, it's very exact, but also sometimes in a greater sense of things, I'm playing a video game sometimes. So I'm curious to see how well 2K is going to bring it back with PGA. I'm looking forward to Split Fiction. I don't know how quickly I'm going to play it upon release, but I do think that one looks interesting. And the most everything else is just sort of speculation. So
I will pause you there.
Yeah.
You can use my friend pass. So like, if someone buys the game, you can invite a friend to play it for free. They don't have to own the game or anything. So, in other words, if you want to play it, I'm down.
Neat. Okay. Cool.
Plus, I know it's
So,
on your
yeah, that
fantasy
one-
team, so I know you want to play it.
True. Again, sort of rerun WWE. Looking forward to seeing what 2K25 is
I'm
going
excited
to be
for that.
like.
I'm excited for that.
I'm sure that's going to be fun. I did read that there's maybe a Golf with Friends 2 coming out this year for PC. That might
What?
be fun. I played the first one a whole bunch. Yeah, but there's a rumored development of a second one of those.
my.
Maybe that could be cool.
That'll be generational.
Yeah. Again, see what happens with Skate. Maybe there'll be a Skate release this year. How good or not good that is.
So let me run you through some games coming out this year, and you tell me if you're excited for it or not.
And then Ghosts, obviously.
Okay, there it is. I was waiting for it. I was wondering if Gus is on.
I was leading up to the ones that are like, and then obviously like the obvious ones, like Ghost, and then if DS2 happens, but
oh, Death Stranding. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Ghost, Yote, you already said that. Doom: The Dark Ages.
I've never played more than like 2-3 hours of a Doom game. That's one I Kingdom Come Deliverance treated like you did. I booted it up, I played it, I've played a few hours of it, never stuck with them and kept playing.
Makes sense.
So yes, I think it does look cool. Watching the mount stuff they did with like the vehicle that you're gonna have, and then the big like monster morph thing that you can do, like all that looks sick. Like I'm stoked for like how good it looked. I just don't know if I'm gonna commit 30 hours to it.
I just have to say this. I freaking love the life I'm living right now, because Doom: The Dark Ages is like debatably like one of the most excited games I've ever been for a game. Like, I'm so excited for Doom: The Dark Ages. Like, I'm talking Starfield level of hype. Like, I damn near could say it's like one of my most anticipated games ever. And it's not even one or two on my most anticipated list because it just so happens I have the sequels to my 2 favorite games of all time coming out like unannounced. So it's like
That's true.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
Sorrows does look like it's gonna be something.
Crazy how Doom is one of my most anticipated games ever, and it's number 3. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, it's just a crazy stat. But all right. By the way, do you plan on getting a Switch 2 this year?
Probably not.
Okay.
Honestly.
Ninja Gaiden 4. How you feeling about that one?
It looks good. The Ninja Gaiden series was one I never played much of. I didn't go through and try to play Black either. Considered it, but you know.
Hey yo, you better watch what you do with your hang on, wait a minute. Never mind, I take it back. Okay. Shinobi.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. Gears of War E-Day, if it comes out this year.
I didn't like those games. I played all of the. Well, I didn't play like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I think is what it
sounds
was
like
or
most
whatever.
people.
But I played 1 through 3. Didn't like them as much as like Halo and things like that, so I didn't connect with it. I had a lot of Gears of War friends.
Yeah.
I had a few very close friends that like wouldn't play Halo, but they'd always want to play Gears of War, and I was the opposite way. I don't know. I am curious to see where they're like what direction it's going, like how they're going to introduce that part of whoever's story they're going to tell in depth and leave out and make you wonder, does this mean there's multiple more titles coming, or is this it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Dying Light the Beast.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
I was awful at those, and even whenever they got like better and I don't necessarily want to say easier, but like easier because the mechanics were a bit more fine tuned. I still never really like committed to getting good at them. That'll probably be something that I watch people play through. So I'm excited to watch. There's a lot of these I'm excited to watch playthroughs of. I'll probably just never hands-on experience it. That's more what I mean. I just about take in everything as far as like a major release in some way, shape, or form. I just don't always get my hands on stuff.
Makes sense. And then
I was never a Borderlands guy, Austin.
that actually shocked me. I feel like you would be a Borderlands guy. Guess
Yeah,
not,
I was
though.
never a big Borderlands guy.
Let's see the next one. Lost Soul Side.
That does look really cool. I just, I don't really know what to take of it from just sort of seeing it. Because, I mean, gameplay and fighting and, stuff cinematically can always be deceiving. And I just don't know really what to expect only from seeing trailer. So,
I got you. Split Fiction, you already said. Destiny 2, you already said. Outer Worlds 2.
Didn't play the first one. I honestly don't even really know what's going on in the Outer Worlds game. I know sort of zero context about it.
Sci-fi RPG.
Expedition 33 is one. Yeah, Claire Obscura. That's one I'm like the most curious about, I suppose. I'm really interested what like real-time turn-based is going to be. And I like that hopefully they're not sacrificing a good story with well like developed and put together characters, because obviously like the world, the environments, the monsters, the people, like all of it looks graphically incredible. So hopefully that doesn't mean the story took a backseat. Or like, just has a very like sort of boring like culminal. So I'm like, because a lot of games that have like these very huge awesome, developed, thorough, incredible stories. Like they're very sort of like simplified kind of like graphics. The games like Persona, nothing, nothing against the animation of Persona, but like they're not like super detailed, super like mocap type situations. Like this is sort of like the best of both worlds. I think when it comes to something of interesting development of gameplay mixed with it also looks like a next gen title. So
I need the French to cook on this game.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like AC Shadows.
That's one. Yeah, again, that's on my list.
Cool.
AC Shadow.
Is there anything
we just
else on your
also
list?
Talked about it. That we haven't talked about. No.
Yeah.
Well, Night Rain. I'm interested to
Okay.
see how successful Night Rain becomes. But I don't see myself playing it all too much.
Pokemon Legends E3A. Oh, that directs tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited for that.
If I can get my hands on a Switch this year, then yeah, I'm excited for Pokemon.
Cool.
But if not, then I'm gonna have to. Switch games are ones I don't watch people play. I never usually watch people play Nintendo titles, so that's one I'll probably just have to like learn vicariously through people coming in and talking about it. But
Mafia.
take it or leave it.
South of Midnight.
No connection to the franchise. Curious. I'm curious about it. I'm wondering if it's quick 15-hour experience.
Cool. I'm gonna like
Kinda
run
gives me that
through.
vibe.
I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna go rapid fire on some smaller games. You like stop me if you're excited for any. Turok Origins, FBC Firebreak, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, 33 Immortals, Little Nightmares 3, Hurdling, Dispatch.
Hurdling looked good earlier.
Hurdling,
That looked
yeah,
interesting.
I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to Hurdling.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
Um,
What was that other one that I?
maybe Hollow Knight Silk Song. I'm not even gonna say GTA 6 because that ain't coming out this year, so don't have to worry about that one. Maybe Exodus, Subnautica 2, Crimson Desert.
I am curious to see what Subnautica 2 turns into. I just don't know how. After how not good the like sort of in between game kind of.
Oh, Below Zero. Yeah, that one. I don't know.
Yeah, which that's a game that was much better when it was alpha, and then on full release, like everything about it became kind of worse.
Yeah.
There were very cool things about it, but there were things they took out of it when it was alpha and beta that was so cool. Why did we get rid of that? But okay. Yeah.
Atom Fall, the first Berserker Kazan, never mind. Hell Is Us, Mixtape, Midnight Walk, Crimson Desert. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Bunch of stuff. All right. So the reason I wanted to do this is because I've had an epiphany. Is that the word? Wait, hang on. I need to find a definitive edition. Wait, a definitive edition? I need to find the definition.
You need to find the definitive edition.
Epiphany definition. A moment of sudden revelation or insight. Yes, that is exactly what I had. I had an epiphany. I realized. It's actually kind of. I think the reason I realized this is because me and Austin kind of got into a little bit of a back and forth about this the other day. Oh, what just happened? Did something? Oh no, okay. Me and Austin got into a little bit of a back and forth about this. In terms of anticipated games, I realized I kept trying to make this, whatever you'd call it, I don't even know what you'd call it, like this ranking, but like this order of like, cause so I'm gonna go and show this here.
Okay.
I'll do.
Looks great.
Thank you. I'll do that. So okay. So I've made this thing before. So this is my top tiers of all my anticipated games, right?
Okay.
So before I had them all on here, and it was just jumbled up. And I tried ordering them from like one to all of them. I put a game above another one. I put games below other ones, right? And I kept trying to order, like, yeah, I'm more excited for this than that. I'm more excited than this and this. I'm more excited for that, I'm more excited for this and this and this, right? When I realized, why can't I just be super excited for everything? You know what I mean? Like, and so I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I feel like there's levels to this, okay? While, yes, I would still say I have a definitive, like, top 5, right?
Sure.
After that top 5, it's kind of just like all of them are just like pretty much to my maximum excitement that I can even be at, right? Like, I don't see myself more excited for Fable than I am like Mass Effect. I don't see myself more excited for Perfect Dark than I am Phantom Blade. I'm like just so ready and so sold on all of these games. I'm just like, I almost classify them each in their own categories. So I've basically ordered my anticipated games into a tier list on this thing. So in this top section, these are like my S tier, like most anticipated of anticipated. Like these are the games that, like, if we were to have a common conversation and you asked me, yo, are you excited for Judas? I'd be like, yes, that's one of my most anticipated games, even though obviously you can see there's so many other games. But to me, that's how I feel about it, because that's how excited I am for it. It's just, unfortunately, once you come to the realization of every other game releasing, you're like, okay, maybe it's not actually. But it's like, if you just take Judas by itself, I'm like, yo, this is one of my most anticipated games. Unfortunately, there's so many other ones where it's just technically not a correct response, because there are so many other games I'm super duper excited for. Same thing goes for Ninja Gaiden. Same thing goes for Shinobi. Because when I'm watching these trailers, when I'm seeing these games, I'm like, man, this is, dude, like, I'm so tempted to just say right now, this is my most anticipated game. Because that's how I feel about it. But then I remember, oh, wait, but Ghost is coming out. Oh, but Seros is coming out. And it's like, dang it. But what if that didn't have to be the case? What if I could just say all of these are my most anticipated games? Because they are. They genuinely are. I'm super excited for all of them. I'm going to play all of them. And I just, like, I've reached maximum excitement for them. I have no doubt in them. I have no bit of hesitation when thinking about buying it. Like, these are absolutely solid. And same thing goes for the next tier. This is what I consider, like, A tier, I guess, right? Whereas, like, I'm still 100% sold on all these. Like, I'm going to buy and play every single one of these games. It just, I'm still waiting to reach maximum excitement for them, or it's just not one of my most anticipated games, but it's one that I'm absolutely super duper excited for, right? And so Austin says Herdling being in the second row is a surprise to me. Dude, Herdling is gonna cook. Herdling is gonna be awesome. I'm super duper excited for that. But yeah, so then we go like to the B tier. Again, games I'm going to play, I'm probably going to buy. But like, again, I'm waiting to see more, or I don't know how they're actually going to end up being, like if they're going to be good or not. And then hold on, wait a second. This is in the wrong tier. We're going to switch that. Xenoblade. I'm hyped for Xenoblade. But then you have the next tier where it's like, and to be fair, this bottom row here, this does not mean I have low excitement. I'm still excited for all these games, and I'm gonna still play. Well, because here's the thing, I play everything, right? So like, if a game looks even the slightest bit interesting, I'm gonna play it. These are games that I am actually looking forward to. If you ask me about them, I'm gonna be like, I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm gonna play it. I think it looks interesting, right? So it's like, to me, there are levels to this. Instead of being like, yo, this game, I'm more excited for that than that. I'm more excited than that. I'm be like, yo, I'm just excited for these games, period. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So,
stand on it.
Yeah, stand on it. And it's just, for me personally, it's just a more healthy way to look at it, right? I don't want to subject myself to a competition between things that, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to enjoy my time with all of them. It's like, why not try to embrace it all? Embrace it all. Enjoy it all. Because, I mean, it's crazy. Because if you want to take money into the conversation, I'm paying $60 to see if I like something more than something else. And then I'm going to pay $60 more to see if I like something else more than something else. Whereas I could pay $60 to enjoy the living crap out of whatever I'm paying $60 for.
Yeah.
Regardless of something else. Right? So he says, I mean, that is still ranking them in terms of excitement. It is, but it does delete the competition aspect. Yeah, and that's pretty much my whole thing is I just think there are levels to it, right? And there are certain moments where I'm like, honestly, Borderlands 4 could be up here. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's could be up here. Split Fiction could be up here. But, and it's completely biased, too. Like, there is no right or wrong answer. Like I get, like, for me, I think most people would look at Split Fiction and be like, how the heck is Split Fiction not S tier? I really love It Takes Two and A Way Out, but they've never been any of my favorite games of all time. So I'm probably going to love it just as much as the other ones. But you know, it's just things like you just have to go off your own personal bias, your own personal excitement, and so. But then, yeah. So that's how I'm doing it for now on. I'm doing it by like levels, and there's just yeah. But that's pretty much a change that I've made. You're a big single player guy over multiplayer or co-op as well? Yes, actually, absolutely, I am.
I usually am too.
I like a good co-op game. I think it depends on the. If it's gonna be multiplayer co-op, I personally prefer it to be like Call of Duty multiplayer rather than a story multiplayer thing. Just because I'd rather try to experience it by myself and get my own personal experience rather than like have to deal with someone else's experience as well.
I do think you and I should do a Baldur's Gate playthrough together.
Oh dear God. I'd rather play Concord. Just
no, you wouldn't either.
Oh, that's funny.
No, you wouldn't either. I don't know. I think if you made it like a co-op experience, you could maybe enjoy it more. I don't know. Because we can both do the same thing and do separate things at the same time, and it would be fun. See, Austin wants to join.
Go right ahead, bro. I honestly, I don't know.
Bring Christian in too. Be four of us.
Christian will jump on in a heartbeat.
Boom. We'll all four of us make an experience out of it. It'll be fun.
Oh dear.
I'd have a blast. You would too. You know you would.
I've tried getting that game so many times. It just hasn't worked. It's not my game.
I just don't see how, man. It's so fun.
I don't know, man.
But it's
speaking of RPGs, this month has been crazy for RPGs.
Yeah.
You love RPGs, right?
I do.
I love RPGs. Most of the time, yeah. So, in the absolutely amazing events of how many RPGs and for how many more RPGs we have coming out throughout the year, I thought it'd be a great time to rank our top 5 RPGs of all time, including JRPGs, Western RPGs, any sort of RPGs, first person, third person, action, whatever they may be. If they are an RPG, they're an RPG.
Yep.
So we're going to be ranking our top 5 RPGs of all time. I feel like this is a ranking we've never done. I've never done an RPG. So,
not to my knowledge, have you done one though?
Yes. So this is going to be a completely new ranking that we've never done before. Here's what I will say about RPGs as a genre. Obviously, we've already said it. RPGs are pretty much like the video game genre in a certain way. But there are a lot of misses when it comes to RPGs. There are a lot of misses, but the problem is there's just so many of them. That's the problem. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, RPGs may have the same amount of bangers as turn-based games. The problem is there's like, in terms of a ratio, there's like 10 RPGs compared to like 3 turn-based games. And it just so happens that like RPGs maybe get 3 bangers out of those 10, right? So it's like RPGs are great, but there are a lot of mid or bad RPGs at the same time. So
Sure.
we're gonna rank our top 5 RPGs. Now, I originally was gonna do a top 10, so I actually have a top 10. I'm not gonna say my top 10, but I'm gonna throw in some honorable mentions, and I'm gonna just like rapid fire throw just some that I love or would consider some of my favorites in the end as well. I'm curious to hear yours. I know 2 of them that are gonna be on here, for sure. So we're gonna see.
Yeah.
But so I started the last ranking because you started the ranking before that one. So now it's back
Okay.
to you.
Okay.
So if you want to kick off with your number 5, we'll do
Sure.
our honorable mentions before 1, if you have any.
I have one honorable mention. And to kick off number 5 for me, is a recent one actually for me. That sort of, I think, made its way into the top spot, and after playing some of the titles around it, I think perfectly sort of fits in this list.
I see what's going on.
It's going to be Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 has made its way.
Fun fact. Wait,
After playing
sorry.
that over the last few months, that's yeah.
Pause real quick. I find this. Yo, I don't even want to say that. I don't want my sister getting pitchforks and Molotovs thrown into her house. She does not like Mass Effect 2.
Oh, I don't know why. 2 is so good.
It is
2 is
easily
so
her
good.
least favorite one out of the whole trilogy.
2 is so good. I love 2.
It blows my mind.
I love 2 as a whole, like, because the side stuff, the exploration, the choices, the teammates, the loyalty missions, the story itself, space exploration, planet grinding, like all that stuff, I think was just done better. Hacking is in there, like none of that stuff's in 3. Like they expanded upon everything that 1 did and made it better, and then 3 sort of took a little bit of a backseat. But there's obviously some stories with that, rush development, things like that started hitting a rough time when it was get the game out or bust. But that's why the DLC is so good, and I'm in the heart of the Citadel DLC right now, on 3. So
Cool. Yeah, she loves 1. I wouldn't say she hates Mass Effect 2, but she thought it was okay. And then she loves 3. 3 is her favorite out of the trilogy.
3 is good. 3 is good story wise. Just as a whole front to back for me, it misses where 2 brings it. So
I think the reason she didn't like 2, which is kind of a stupid reason on why she doesn't like 2, but at the same time, everybody can play the way. And honestly, knowing her, I completely understand why. The character she chose to romance in Mass Effect 1, she's a big romance person. Okay.
yeah, I get that. I do too.
Romance is so fun in RPGs. The person she chose to romance in Mass Effect 1 just so happens you can't romance in Mass Effect 2, but you can romance them in Mass Effect 3.
Correct.
So,
Did she pick Caden or Ashley?
yes, Caden.
Caden. Okay, so she killed Ashley. I hate her.
Yeah. So
It's fine. You can go back and do it again and choose the other way.
So she was so annoyed whenever she found that out because she called me and was like, "Did you know you can't romance Caden in Mass Effect 2?" And I'm like, "I did not because I chose to."
No, but
romance.
if you choose to not romance anybody in Mass Effect 2, your relationship is immediately better in Mass Effect 3.
Yes, because that's what she found out. So
Yeah.
I think the reason she didn't like Mass Effect 2 is just because she wasn't able to do the whole romance thing. She was telling me, she's like, "Man, I stayed faithful. I stayed loyal to Caden. I tried so hard not romancing anyone else during Mass Effect 2." And I'm like, this is wild. I never imagined me and my sister would be having these kind of conversations about Mass Effect, but here we are. She's completed the Mass Effect trilogy before I have. That's crazy. Like, that is honestly L on my part.
L.
Right.
L
like,
on you. Yeah, it
man,
is.
I'm
It sure
fake
is.
gamer over here. It's crazy. I was gonna make that joke, but I decided not to. But anyway, so all right, Mass Effect 2 is your first one.
Yep, that is my number 5 pick.
Awesome. I will say, I have a Mass Effect on here as well. I'll just go and say it. My number 5 is Mass Effect 1.
Is it really?
So,
I love it.
So, the reason it's Mass Effect 1 is because I haven't beaten any of the other ones. I've only beaten one, and I absolutely loved it. I just think that probably when I play 2 or 3, one of those two will probably take its place.
2 will take its place.
So, yeah, probably. I've already kind of enjoyed 2 more than 1, but I just haven't beat it, so I'm not going to put it on it yet. But
yeah,
absolutely love Mass Effect, man. It was the first BioWare game I played because in the lead up to Dragon Age: The Veilguard, I was like, let me play a BioWare game. Actually, that's not true. I've played a BioWare game. I've played Knights of the Old Republic.
Honestly, you kind of like bumping back into the first one was like, man, I do own the Legendary, like, and then after after a while, it was like I'm gonna do it myself, and then so yeah.
But
okay, yeah, ME1, huh? That's
yeah,
good.
it was just the one I was like, man, I realized I love this stuff, man. Wait, you play everything, bro. When she buys every new game coming out every week after another, you can say you're a fake gamer. That's true. That's true. That is true. But yeah. All right. Go on to your number 4.
This one seems I think is one of the other ones that you say you think for sure is probably in my list.
Okay. Actually,
I
I know
had to
3
guess-
now. I know 3
you
that
said
are in your
that-
top 5.
You said there were 2 for sure, but now you're saying 3.
Now,
but okay.
now there's 3.
This one I think is an obvious one that I had to put there. I struggled between kind of 4 and 5 for this one because that's just how good Mass Effect 2 was to me.
Yeah.
But this one I've got Baldur's Gate 3
Yep.
plopped in my
Yep.
number 4
Yep.
spot. Just I've glazed it nonstop over the year or so that I've played it. It's so good. It's so fun. I did a playthrough with my uncle a couple weeks ago. Well, it's been quite a while now, where he like soft lock deathed himself in the first like hour of the game, and it made me like start a whole nother playthrough. So like in the midst of my Mass Effect like binge playthrough, I've got another 10 hours on a new Baldur's Gate playthrough. So like it's a game I can sort of like constantly go back and see myself doing the same way, different ways. It's good. It's a good one, man. It fits.
I will say I need video games to chill out for a hot second because I do want to go back to my backlog and like beat Mass Effect 2 and play some other things, but I just can't right now. There's too much coming out. I just can't do it. But that's
I don't like that Austin laughs every time I make
I don't know why he's laughing either, but I will say I started laughing really hard because I was gonna say that at the
starting
beginning.
an RPG instantly to have to restart getting soft. Like he
Oh.
did. He did. If you're, which I'm guessing you are familiar with it, Austin. The mind flayer at the beginning of it in the ship, he just gave in to the mind
I don't
flayer
think
and
he
it
is
killed
familiar
him.
with it. He's never touched Baldur's Gate. I don't think.
Well, it's literally the very beginning of the game. You find one injured, and you can kill it or just walk away, or you can give into its mind control and it kills you. So, and that's what he did. He had a couple of beers because he works third shift, so it was like 10 in the morning, which is like 10 at night realistically for him. So he was drunk a little bit. He was making some fun decisions. And he was like, "Yeah, just let him do it. Let him have it. I'm curious to see what happens." And I asked him, "Was like, are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah."
He said,
I
"Me
was
and
like,
John bought
"Okay."
it just to never play it together." That's right. We actually fell out. We actually had a fallout because of it too. It's crazy.
Well, that's the funny thing is that's like 3 kind of games technically, really, but one I gave up after like 10 hours on you. But that's like 2 games I've put in like 300 hours on your dime. So thanks, John.
No worries, bro. No worries.
But you bought Baldur's Gate well before I game shared with you,
Yes,
so that was
that
just
is true.
convenient that you already owned
That is
it.
true.
So
Yes. But yes. So, well, what I started laughing about because I thought, and I was gonna say, but before the list started, but I just now remembered. Just so y'all know, Jordan's list is 100% going to be the more popular list here. My list is much more niche than his. He will have a list that looks like a lot more people's list. His list is probably objectively more correct than mine.
It is
100%.
Yeah, mine's 100% a pretty copy and paste out of people's opinions.
And that will never be more true than my number 4, which is
especially based on your restrictions that I put on there, because there are many people that would consider your action adventure games are RPGs, depending on who you're talking to. So this is with the restrictions that you set for me. So
that my statement will never feel more true than my next one, because my number 4 is Dying Light 2. It is. I love the game. It's so fun. I love its parkour. I love its combat. I love zombies. I just love its environment. I just have an absolute blast with it. I think, yes, as an RPG, it is kind of weak in that department, but it is an RPG, and I love the game, so it just had to go in my top 5. Like, it just had to, because it's in my, maybe top 20 games of all time, maybe? Hang on, it's in my top 20.
That's one I think I should maybe play a little bit more of. I only played, again, the first, couple hours of that game.
Yeah, but I just absolutely love it, and so...
I really liked the first one.
Yeah. Austin says, so what you're saying is Vilgard is in your top 3? I don't know. We'll have to see about that one. But yeah, so Dying Light 2, it cracks in my list. So you have Mass Effect 2, I have Mass Effect 1. You have Baldur's Gate 3, I have Dying Light 2. I think we know who has the objectively more correct list here. But anyway, go on to number 3 now.
So number 3 for me, again, all these picks. Well, I don't know. My number 1's kind of a curveball, I guess, for some.
That's true.
On who you are.
Your number 1 is what I expect to be number 1.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, number 3 for me is Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Is sort of right where that nestles in for me. Good old me and Geralt, making our way through that flag right there. That is the Witcher 3 flag that I have hanging behind me over all my Spider-Man. Oh, there's Astarion too, by the way. Speaking of Baldur's Gate, I got an Astarion pop.
Cool.
But yeah, Witcher 3. I was absolutely god-awful terrible at it.
Dang it.
I was so bad at it on launch whenever that game came out, and I took it back.
This guy's list is so correct.
I was so bad at it.
This is like IGN's top 100 RPGs of all time. This is
100%. But I mean, and the thing, a lot of these genres and those lists, they get the top 3 or 4 right. It's just it's when you get to 17 where it's
yeah.
Okay,
no, I feel that.
Sure. I feel that. Objectively,
Jordan's list is for the streets over here. Okay.
It kind of is. It kind of is to an extent. But yeah, me and Geralt, I was glad finally a couple of years ago I really gave him a good shot again. I delved right back into Witcher 3, and thankfully I did, because I had expanded my mind a lot more in video games and I couldn't put the game down. And because of that, I did my best to do absolutely everything that I could in that game. I never went back and played it a second time. I played it before the remaster too, so I would like to do that again now that it even looks a lot more gorgeous than it did. But yeah, Witcher 3 cranking it in there for me.
Cool. Witcher 3 kicking off his top 3. My third kicking off my top 3 is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I will say I did take it out of my top 20 games of all time, but I still love it. I mean, I think it's 21. It's right out of it. I absolutely love The Veilguard. It's kind of the game that got me into this whole RPG. Actually, no, Mass Effect was kind of the thing, because I played Mass Effect leading up to Dragon Age: The Veilguard. That just, bro, I'm just on such an RPG kick as of the last 6 months, and so Dragon Age: Veilguard has a huge part of that, because I absolutely loved it. When it comes to RPG, it has everything I love out of an RPG. It has the stats part of it. It has the companions part of it. It has the story part of it. It has the gameplay part of it. It has the exploration part of it. It just has everything. And what I love about Dragon Age is it's different from a lot of RPGs. The production value is super high. There are a ton of cutscenes. There are a bunch of epic set pieces. There are grand finales. There is it's a movie in a lot of ways. Whereas there are some RPGs, a lot of them, where it's kind of just go talk to this person and then you like enter this like just camera angle of just staring at their face, reading dialogue chat. Whereas like this one, yes, there are moments of like dialogue chat, but for the most part, you're witnessing cutscenes, and the cutscene just stops for a second for you to make a decision, and then the cutscene continues. And so, I think for me, it's just everything I like out of a cutscene, and it's very outside of a traditional RPG, which I love. It's just it feels like an action adventure game, but it's not. I mean, it's BioWare, it's Dragon Age, it's an RPG. It's just they made it much more of a modern, higher production RPG than what you normally see, and that's what I love about it. So it does go at number 3, and I know that's definitely a biased pick. I'm not gonna lie. In no way, shape, or form am I ever gonna say Dragon Age Vanguard is a top 5 RPG of all time, but for me, it absolutely is. It's top 3. But yeah, I absolutely love it. But yeah, what is your runner-up, Jordan? So okay, so now I'm pretty sure I know your top 2 now.
Yeah.
I think so. Unless you completely fumbled and forgot about one of them.
I mean, I don't see how.
Right, so I think I know your top 2.
Because I mean, this is my take on things. So,
well,
you know, I don't see how.
Well, I don't. Okay, hang on. Just all right. What is your runner-up, and then I'll know.
My number 2 is Elden Ring.
All right, we're gonna have a discussion. Unless it's in your honorable mention, I think it's. I guess it's lower than what I thought.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. We have a spicy list now. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, so Elden Ring. Boom.
Yeah, Elden Ring, number 2, tucked its way in. I don't
tucked its way in, but it's all the way.
And well, and this was kind of hard for me. Because 2 through 4, I can kind of mix them all up in between like a couple of different spots for me for like what they do.
Okay.
Elden Ring for me doesn't necessarily give me a lot of like character satisfaction, but it gives me tons of story satisfaction. Whereas Baldur's Gate does both. But I think how entrancing and well written Elden Ring's story and lore is, and just how intricate it gets when it gets thoroughly explained by the people who like really read into it and know it, is what sort of blows me away. Is everything in the background of Elden Ring that you can just miss, even if you thoroughly play the game. Or, you know, because of the way you chose to play, you're never going to know. There are parts of the games I haven't touched because I didn't do a particular playthrough. Like, still, to this day. So, you know, that's sort of where it fits in for me, is that it's a game that stands amongst so many, even though I haven't even done more than, like, 2 different style playthroughs.
Makes sense. I'm so curious. Maybe I'm wrong about your number 1 then. Maybe. I guess. I don't know. Okay, we'll end up seeing. But my number 2, which, this might spoil it. Because wait. No, wait. No, it won't. Never. It definitely won't. Never mind. It definitely won't. My number 2, probably no one expected this. Super Mario RPG is my runner-up. I genuinely enjoy this. I adore this game. Like, I like it's numbers. I moved it up to 16 on my like top games of all time. Like, it is. It's just one of my favorite games ever, dude. Like, it really is. I have nothing but praise for this game. Like, I honestly, if I could go back and do my review, I think I might give it a 10 out of 10 because I just loved it. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up going up in my top 10 of all time. If I replay the game, I think it would be. Because it's just one of those things. It's just grown on me so much. And it's just one of those games where I reflect on it so much. And the more I reflect on it, the more I realize how much fun I really had and how much I loved it. And especially because Me and Austin started talking about it a couple podcasts ago, and he was saying because he finally finished it, and I was explaining my love for it, and we kept talking about it, and I was like, man, I love that game so much. Like, it's just so great, and it has one of my favorite, not favorite endings, but it has one of my favorite moments during an ending of a game. Like, for me personally, not in terms of the game. The ending of the game is very generic. But, like, for me, I just had a personal moment during the ending that I'll, like, never forget. Like, it's just, like, it's burned in my skull that, like, 15 minutes of me just being so, like, enjoying something to the absolute fullest to the point where, like, I started crying because I just thought it was a beautiful moment. Like, it just made me realize how much I love video games again. And I love when games do those. And when a game does that, that's how you know it's one of your favorite games of all time. When there is a moment that just makes you remember why you love video games so much. And Super Mario RPG is that all the way through for me. I just love it so much. I'm starting to get emotional just talking about it, bro. I really love it. Like, honestly, I'm even debating if it's number one, to be honest with you. But I don't know if it is. So we're going to move on to our honorable mentions. So what is your honorable mention?
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so I have a feeling you forgot about a game or something. Unless you just don't see it as an RPG.
I did kind of
so-
omit JRPGs, if that's sort of where we're going with it.
Okay, everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
So you did not include JRPGs.
No.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense now. That makes a lot more sense. Because I thought for sure Final Fantasy was your runner-up.
No, and the only reason why because I did consider tucking them just at one, just as a whole. But I'm gonna wait till it's done.
Oh, okay.
That's sort of
Interesting.
that's sort of the thing for me, is I'm kind of waiting until that's done. But yeah, like I said, I did sort of omit the Japanese RPG
Okay.
style out of it, and though that is very heavy RPG, I did sort of see that as like a kind of different line
Yeah.
back and forth on like where we clarified things versus but Japanese RPGs are included. It was like, okay, well, I think I'm still going to draw that line
Okay.
and just sort
Fair
of go
enough.
straight with what I imagined in my head, because that's why I was like, how about you clarify it for me? And then I even like clarified it, boiled it down even like kind of farther
makes sense.
for myself. So yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so what is your number? Or wait, no. So my honorable mention. So I have
Yeah.
a lot here. So I'm just gonna do a rapid fire. I'm gonna just go through a bunch of games that I debated putting on the list or that I love. Like I would at least put A tier, right? And then
Okay.
my honorable mentions are games that I would put B tier. So I have Avowed in my honorable mentions because I really liked Avowed. And then I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey in my honorable mentions because the recent Assassin's Creed games are RPGs, which is kind of
100%.
a big criticism for a lot of people. If they like it, they love it. If they don't, they
I
don't
would
like
kind
it.
of tuck Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla sort of into
Yep.
one little clump for me.
Yep,
Origin, like, it's kind of Origins being my least favorite of the three,
absolutely,
personally.
absolutely. I actually don't like Origins whatsoever. Like it's one of my least favorite.
I did enjoy it the first time I tried it, because I tried to go Odyssey then Origin, didn't really like it, and played Valhalla, and then I went back and played Origin like a good while after playing them, and after being kind of separated from it and sort of introducing myself back into it, I enjoyed Origins pretty well. So
Cool. And then these technically aren't honorable mentions, but they are. These are ones that I actually debated putting on the list. We have Fable. We have Knights of the Old Republic. We have Skyrim. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We have Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. Those are all, I think, just absolutely fantastic.
I felt like I could have had way too many honorables. I didn't really want to write them all down.
Yeah, no,
I
that
felt
makes
like
sense.
I could have.
But yeah, so there's a little
Yeah.
rapid fire. If y'all are very curious about some good RPGs to play, boom, we just gave you a ton. And we're about to give you our number one, our favorite RPGs of all time. So Jordan, oh boy, here we go. Here, Austin said, Prob's order of my favorite RPGs, JRPGs. First two are for the number 5 spot in contention. Lies of P, BioShock. Okay. Is BioShock an RPG?
Yeah, it is.
No, it is not.
Well, I would consider it having
It is not.
characteristics of it. I would consider it having characteristics, but not full
Characteristics
No.
doesn't. It is not classified as a RPG game.
Fair.
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't full blown necessarily say yeah it is, even though I did say that. I would just say it has characteristics that
It just says it's
I
a
can
first
see
person
you
shooter.
giving you that vibe, but maybe not full fledged. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, well, there are a ton of games that have
But-
light RPG mechanics, but aren't actually RPGs.
Right.
Like Black Myth Wukong. It has some RPG elements, but it's not. Like absolutely, it's not. Okay,
Dying
Dying
Light
Light 2 and Lightspeed are tied for number 5. Number 4, Nier. Hold up. Oh, Nier, FF16, or Xenoblade 3. Hard choice. For which is set second. Oh, number 4 is Nier, and then for number 3, it's tied between FF16 and Xenoblade 3, and the other one would be number 2, of course. And Yakuza 7 or 8 is not number 1. It's 7. I can tell you that right now. And 8 is number 2. But anyway. You said I thought it was a RPG, but the more I think about it, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. So what is your number 1 RPG?
Number 1 for me is my number 1 game of all time, and it's
Yep.
Fable: The Lost
Yep.
Chapters.
There it is. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Fable: The Lost Chapters. That's the just so happens to fit both perfect lists for me of my favorite game, and it because it's my favorite game, it just has to nestle right in there. But if I weren't to include Fable, that was kind of the hard thing, as I was like, maybe I'll just omit it because it's my favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't. I just kept
not.
coming back to making it, so I was like, yeah.
No, absolutely. You have to. My number
Looking
1.
looking forward to plopping the next one somewhere in this list if they so decide to. By the way.
Oh, I
Playground.
did. Yeah, my
Oh.
number 1. I did not omit JRPGs, and so my number 1 is Final Fantasy VII as a whole, pretty much. Like, I can't pick a specific game. Remake, rebirth. Like, to me, I just see it as one thing. It's just one story. But if I had to choose one, I would say the original. Like, I would say the original FF7. I don't really even have to explain it. Everybody who knows FF7 knows why it's one of the greatest games of all time. So,
Very good.
It's awesome. But honestly, the more I think about it, I might even put Super Mario RPG above it, to be honest with you. Like, honestly, I don't know. But it's just so great. Yeah, I love it. It has some of the greatest characters, has the greatest OST, has awesome gameplay, great story. Yeah, it's just so great. Austin, it's okay. You can do whatever you want. Like, bro's going crazy in the chat. Holy moly. But yeah, so there is our top 5 RPGs of all time. Maybe Jordan will have to come back with an updated list, including JRPGs, one day in the future. But
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe we'll do like a, what would we pick if we weren't picking our top 5, sort of like, and include JRPGs then, so like we can even omit the ones we have now, like go back into it as like a full list.
yeah,
Maybe if we don't have quite as many topics, we'll actually do like 10 of them maybe too. So,
yeah,
So
cool.
take out the ones we picked tonight and
We gotta
do 10
think
more.
about what our next ranking is gonna be. See,
Yeah,
because I love
ranking
doing
or-
rankings with you, because I don't know like your rankings as much as like I guess like say Austin or like Christian, like you're like the person who I've never had the ranking conversations with for a lot of different things. So
Sure.
it's always like I never know what to expect in your rankings.
And again, I beat KCD too. By the time we talk about it again, and
Right.
it might be right there in that list. So
Right. Yeah, for sure.
it's doing a pretty dang good job of trying right now. I
Hey,
can tell
Monster
you that
Hunter
much,
Wilds
so.
Friday could switch the whole list up. You never know.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. That's true.
Very great stuff. But yeah, RPGs, man, are killing it this year, and we love them. So, great stuff. And hey, if you guys want a great RPG to play, just so happens Dragon Age of Vilgard is available on PS Plus starting in March. Can you believe that? Yeah,
It's probably gonna be like the 6th though, because PlayStation's weird and doesn't make the 1st.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird day during March. But yeah, great stuff. Well, I think honestly that just about does it. Right?
Little 3 hour.
I think we have a little 3 hour, a little banger. We were gonna go over the ID at Xbox thing, like go over all the games, but we don't want to make the whole the podcast super duper long. I will say, for me, my standouts real quick. 33 Immortals. I continue to be very very excited in that. Balatro getting a big update, I found very very cool. Hurdling is probably my game of the show there. And it's probably my most anticipated indie game now, outside of Replaced. But that wasn't, outside of Replaced. Replaced and Hurdling are for sure my two most anticipated indie games. Jump Ship, I think, looks so fun. Liza P. Overture, the DLC got a trailer. I'm not too big into Liza P, so that one, I wasn't crazy about that. Moonlighter 2, I think, could be interesting. Outbound, I thought looked pretty neat. Revenge of the Savage Planet, I'm excited for. I think that was about it. But there were so many great indie games here at the show. A lot of them got release dates, and a lot of them are Game Pass as well. That Metroidvania roguelike is interesting. I think you're thinking of Echo Weaver, I think. Yes, yeah. Yes, it is. It is Outer Weaver. Or Echo Weaver, Jesus. But yeah. And then, Buckshot Roulette is also coming to consoles, so that's really cool. There was a game, Blueprints, I thought looked pretty interesting. I'm not going to play it, I'm not really excited, but it definitely looks interesting for sure. But yeah, it was a great show. A lot of great stuff from that show. It absolutely cooked. So other than that, that is pretty much it for the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan, you have anything else that you want to talk about or add?
I don't think so. Good lists, good times.
Great stuff.
Looking forward to seeing how the advancements look after maybe we revisit this in a couple weeks, couple months or something, sort of see
Looking forward to
kind of
Monster
how we're standing. Yeah, see how we play, how we can stick to it, and some
Hunter 2.
advancements.
Maybe I'll finish Mass Effect 2 by then too. You never know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So we will have to see. But anyway, thank you all so much. W Podcast as always from both of you good gentlemen. Austin says. Thank you all so much for tuning into the podcast. Appreciate all of y'all. Remember, a bunch of things to check out on the channel as well. And just a lot of things coming up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you all so much for watching. And we will see you in the next one. Johnny Murr out. Peace.